Welcome back to the Main Beam Podcast. This is episode 25.
Yep.
So we're in tonight. We're going to talk a little turkey hunting, and turkey season's pretty well over, and it's 100 degrees outside. So I'm going to be one of your hosts, Landen.
I'm Max.
Allan. Spencer.
Brady.
And tonight we're here with a special guest and a guy that we do quite a bit of turkey hunting with.
AKA Dibby Dibby Chaw.
Mr. Matt.
Matt Gravitt. Yep.
Mr. Matt.
What's up, guys?
That was his old YouTube back in the day.
Please don't look it up.
Yeah.
How many hunts are on that one?
I would say 0.
None.
Yep, unless you're hunting for Copenhagen straight.
Yeah. So you really just got into hunting like the last several years, didn't you?
So I got into hunting when I was about 18.
Yeah.
Didn't grow up hunting. I grew up in New York. My dad wasn't a hunter. Moved here when I was 12, but my whole family was into hunting, on like cousins and stuff. So I'd like go with them. And then one year I just kind of decided, I was like, I'm getting into this. I don't know how I'm going to get into it, but I'm going to get into it. So I knew I had to get my hunter safety course. Decided to sign up for that. Took it by myself 2 days. That's whenever you took it in person. I don't know if they still do that or not.
Yeah. I took mine in person.
I think we took ours in person.
Yeah, it was like an 8-hour day and then a 10-hour day on a Saturday. Got a speeding ticket. I remember that between that.
Yeah.
During the lunch break. But anyway, and then I wanted to go hunt, and that was fall turkey season. I think it was October 31st. Isn't that like the last day?
I'm not sure on the fall season when it ends.
Were you hunting here?
It was in Missouri.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when it ends either.
What is it?
The fall turkey season here?
Only October, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is only I think you are right.
So I hit my grandpa up, and I was like, hey, I got my hunter safety course. Like, let's go hunting. He's like, well, tomorrow's the last day of fall turkey season. Mm-hmm. And we went. We had a great hunt. One of my favorite hunts. It was we got a double, and then the fall, you could shoot hens.
Right.
Yeah.
So we shot 2 hens that day, and after that, I was like, oh, I'm hooked. Yep.
Shooting with shotguns?
Yep.
Yep. Oh, cool.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. The podcast is brought to you by HLRBO. As hunters, we are always looking for new places to find mature bucks. You can find leases all across the U.S. and Canada. The best part is it's 100% free to sign up. Get started and find your next property today. I just remember, well, when we started working at the shop like 6 years ago, I remember you came in with Joe, didn't you?
So I came in after Joe. You're talking about, what do you mean?
When you came into the shop and
your guys' shop.
Yeah, and you bought Dad's crossbow.
Yeah. Yep. That was that day.
Yeah, I just remember Matt coming in the shop. You end up buying that crossbow, and then it was like literally like 6 months later, you bought a brand new Matthews, had it all decked out, and then that's when we went up to
Kirksville.
Yeah, Kirksville to hunt for that time. So.
Yeah. No, I knew I wanted to get into archery. I mean, I was doing rifle and stuff in between then. But, like, you can't just pick up a bow and go hunting.
Yeah.
At least I didn't want to do that. And I knew a crossbow would be a little bit more dialed in, but it'd still get me out there. And then I shot one, not with that crossbow. Actually, it was with a different one. But after that, I was like, all right, I'm going to buy a bow. I'm going to get in shape. And I'm going to get really good at shooting my bow. And I'm going to go elk hunting. Like, that was, like, my goal for that, like, next year. And then went elk hunting that year. Got real close to killing a bull. Called him in 18 yards, just couldn't get a shot on him on like the last day. And I was hooked after hearing, bugles and them running in. I mean, it's hard to beat that.
And you've been several times since.
3 times.
3 times.
Yep. And have had 2 other shot opportunities. So really only 1 year I got skunked, but we did run into a mountain lion.
I remember you sent us the video or picture of it or something.
Video, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like right on top of you guys.
Yeah,
too.
15 yards.
Fuck.
I had like a 6-minute stare down. I'm like, get my phone out, because that seems like the right thing to do when you're looking at a mountain lion.
I think I'd have been getting something else out besides my bow. My phone. I'd have been getting my bow.
Right. Oh, I had my bow, and the guy I was with was like, man, you think, should we shoot him? I'm like, I don't think he's really threatening us. I'm like, I got my pepper spray right here if this thing charges.
It'd be like that episode of, have you seen the episode of South Park where they go hunting and the uncle dude's like, yep. He's like, everything that's endangered, all you got to say is, they're coming right for us. And then you shoot. So they're like just walking around and they're like, it's coming right for us. And they just shoot everything.
Yeah, we debated it, but instead just got some videos and the guy I was with is a guy I've gone elk hunting with a couple times now. But he 3 minutes of the stare down, he's like, "Hey man, can you get my photo with him?" And I'm like, "I don't think this is a good idea, Brad." I got his photo though.
Did you?
Yeah, in the video too.
So did the mountain lion, like, did it eventually run off or just walk off? Or
Well,
Brad scared it off?
no,
or?
well, wouldn't be the first time. So he scared stuff off before, but no, it was, they're real quiet and like stealthy, and we were by a river that was running, and it was pretty loud, and I never really took my eyes off him, but at one point we both took our eyes off him, and like for a split second looked back up and he was gone. So
And that was just it.
sketchy.
You'd never seen him again.
Never saw him again, and we were actually heading up there to kind of like shower off in the spring. So we're over there. I'm like putting soap on my arms, I'm like looking around. I'm like,
Looking in the
damn,
trees.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm a
right.
sitting duck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn.
Well, Matt, I like how you got into hunting when you were like 18, but you got into chew when you were like 8.
Yeah, I'd say 15. A little baseball and peer pressure, and before you know it, that's what you got into. But we're off that now, onto upper deckies and better things.
Yep.
Yeah.
But no, it kind of been nice ever since we honestly met, or you've been selling us paint, that we've kind of became closer and got on some hunts together. And usually turkey season, went deer hunting a few times, but turkey season's always a good time whenever we get out there and go. And this year we got the chance, me and Matt went to South Dakota, and that was a heck of a
It was a great trip.
Yeah, that was a great trip. It was a heck of a time. We kind of planned it for a little while, but we were kind of just flying off the seat of our pants because you had a guy that was going to, like, take us, and then you weren't able to get a hold of him.
Yeah, it was like a random guy that came into the store, and he was wearing, I don't know if he was wearing Sitka or he was wearing elk stuff, so we started talking about hunting or whatever, and he told me he was a guide up in South Dakota, and I was like, man, I was trying to go hunt some Merriams out there. He's like, oh man, I see turkeys all the time. I'll be able to help you out. I'm like, dude, I'm going to get your number right now, and I'm not kidding. I'm going to call you. So called him and talked to him a few times, and he told us what unit he was going to be in. And then like a month went by, and I'm one of those guys, I try to plan out everything instead of just going up, kind of how we ended up
Yeah, you're
going.
the exact
we ended up
opposite of us. I was going
Right.
to say, you plan everything out, and we're just like, fuck it. Whatever goes, and it always ends up a shit show.
Right. And, sometimes that's for the best, because now after we went on this trip, like me and Landen talked about it a bunch, like we know what to expect.
Yeah.
If you went next year, or if Max ever wanted to go, like we're going to be able to, we know how to hunt them now and an area where to go,
Yeah, now they rely on us. So
Right.
if we don't have to answer the phone.
Yeah, right.
Oh, no. I just got to start off by saying, fuck both of you, because I had to stay and work.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
They'll be like, hey, where'd you guys go?
Yeah, we'll drop you some pins.
Sherwin-Williams should have wrote me a check for staying here.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, then that guy, he kind of ghosted us. And that's where we went, kind of plan B. We were just going to go up to this unit, and then Landen ended up having one of his buddies out there that was going and kind of knew the area. So we were like, hey, that's a start. Yeah.
And they ended up going out before us.
Yep.
Brendan Ogletree and Jeremy Light, they ended up
Jesus.
going, yeah, A.K.
Jesus.
Yeah, he
Jesus.
calls him Jesus. He said he's been growing his hair up for like 7 years. I'm not kidding. Like, it's so long.
Oh, yeah. When we were in Iowa, I remember you look at him, and it's like, yeah, it's like fucking down to his ass.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they found him.
Yeah.
He was
got
gone
lost
for
that
the
night.
longest time.
Anyway, they went out like, well, we weren't really for sure if we were going to be able to go or not. We had a bunch of stuff to do at work, and then Brendan ended up going out on like a Monday or something, and we were supposed to leave on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and we ended up not leaving until Thursday, and so it was just kind of a big mess. But Brendan then went out before us, and so we kind of had something to go off of because they were in birds. They were sending us some pins, but they were bow hunting. We brought our shotgun, so he was acting like, hey man, we can. He's like, he kept texting me, and I was wanting to leave town so bad. He's like, we're covered up in birds. He's like, this holler up here is just loaded, huge flock. he's like, we're just being patient, sitting in tents. And he's like, it's not working. Like, if we had guns, like, we'd be fine.
Right. I mean, he made it sound like we were going to get a bird opening morning.
And I'm telling him on the way out, I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Like, he's already, like, I've heard the biggest thing is finding birds. And I'm like, we already got birds. Like, we're going to be sweet. And he was saying that how, like, this holler was just lighting up with birds. And they had a few birds gobbling behind them and stuff. So, me and Matt, we left at, like, 3.
So yeah, you met up at my house around 4. I don't think we got on the road until about 5.
Yeah, we were looking at your goat and your other stuff, so it was probably around then.
Yeah, I want to say we got into South Dakota around 5 o'clock Mountain Time.
Yeah, but we drove straight through.
About 12 hours then.
Roughly.
13 hours.
It was right about 13 hours.
Yeah, it was 12 hours and 52 minutes exactly without stops.
That's probably pretty accurate.
No, that's what my phone said whenever I was at your house. And so that was without stops. But
a normal way, if you're going west, a normal western drive from here to hunt anything is 13 hours.
We also gained an hour. Because of the time change.
Yeah.
On the way back made it a little rougher. But
Right.
on the way out there, we gained an hour. So we got out there, and Brendan and them already had a place to stay. And so we
bunked with them.
Yeah, we bunked with them. We went up to this restaurant. It was chill. We had a pretty good time. I didn't probably pack enough clothes. I didn't realize it got pretty chilly
it for sure did.
The first morning or so, but I didn't know what to expect at all. We kind of stayed down this town, and then we split up that morning since Brendan and Jeremy had already been there.
Right.
And Matt went with Jeremy. And,
Jesus.
Yeah. And he was like, he was trying to show him how to video, and he was like, he had no clue. And Matt hooks his microphone on his shirt, and Jeremy goes, "What the hell is this thing?" He's like, "It's a mic." He put it on there, and he was like trying to show him how to video. And
which is tough to show someone that has never ran a camera.
Right.
Yeah, not only not run a camera, but not run a mirrorless or DSLR camera.
You can't just click record.
Yeah, it's next to impossible.
Well, me and Matt obviously planned on hunting together, but since we were kind of like, man, they've already been here, like they know where birds are separate ways, like let's just split up, we'll see what happens. So I went with Brendan, he went with Jeremy, and we were on birds
from the start.
Yeah, we were
right off the rip.
What are you laughing about?
Brady's over here like,
oh, I thought
I'm just looking.
I thought you were laughing at something I said. I was going to say, I said Brendan and Jeremy. So anyway, we go out hunting, and me and Brendan got on a bird within, or it was some pretty steep, like rugged terrain, like whenever we were driving up there, and I was like, damn, I can't believe he drove in a car.
Right, yeah.
And then he like wasn't going to go any farther, and me and him were in his truck that's kind of built for driving up that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so we parked there, and obviously we went our separate ways when we heard the birds gobbling, and me and Brendan probably got within like 70 yards of this bird, and I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome, and we were hearing a bunch more birds down the holler too, kind of where you guys were going. And this bird basically like we could see obviously behind us, to the right of us, to the left of us. The only thing we couldn't see was like up the hill. Bird flies down, never seen him or heard him. Like, couldn't tell you.
And that's kind of how the story went. I mean, it's crazy.
And it ended up, that's because it was late in the season, correct? Or it's just weird, year?
I think it's a weird year.
Yeah.
Because and later on in the hunt, a guy we ended up meeting up with said that this was actually the best time to go.
Yeah.
But talking to locals, they were like, man, you should have been here a month ago. We're like looking at our tag, like, man, it's only been open for a week and a half. I don't know what we're talking about a month ago.
Yeah.
But like, that's how it was out there. I mean, I would compare this place to like mini Colorado, like not as high as elevation. But you hear a gobble and you think it's 70 yards, 60 yards. And then you get up to it and, well, no, now it sounds like it's 70 or 60 yards down the other side.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They like echo, I don't know, and they sound a lot different too than our eastern.
Yeah, I mean the Merriams obviously sound different.
I'm sure
they're not near as loud. I mean they don't have that deep thunder in their voice like.
Yeah, it's just like Rio's kind of.
Yeah, I mean it's very similar to them.
Yeah,
but
they all sound like Jake's or something.
Yeah,
too.
kind of.
They don't have like deep.
The only thing I always can compare it to, like the Rios, like groups of Rios, they sound like kids. Like they sound like kids.
I keep saying puppy dogs.
Yeah, he kept saying puppy dogs.
Yeah, they're just kind of like blah 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 blah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just
But that's when we set up on this bird, didn't hear him, flies down. I don't know, he must have went the other way. Completely don't know. And So me and Brendan were both like, dude, I don't know. So we kind of crest this next hill or whatever. And two of them fire off. And it's like, all right, here we go. And then they just completely shut up. We were standing there and me and him were looking at each other like, dude, I don't know what to do. We're on like the peak of this mountain. It's like drop offs on both sides. And it's like, I don't know how you can shimmy down between rocks and stuff and not be seen or not move. Like we were just sitting there like, dude, I don't know what to do. And all of a sudden we heard like the weirdest noise. It was almost like a basketball being dribbled on like concrete or like a floor, and it just kept getting like quicker and quicker. And we both looked at each other, and I was like, okay, I don't know if like that was just me or like I'm losing it or what. And I looked at him, and he was like, I hope you heard that. I was like, yeah, I heard that. And so we walked over the hill, and there's this ruffled grouse sitting there. And it like puffs its chest out, and it like gets its wings, and it's like whoop, 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 whoop. Like it's like almost like a drumming.
Yeah, I've only ever seen videos of it, but yeah, it's like
and me and him were like, oh, what the hell? Like that's cool. Like I had no clue at first. I was just like, okay, I just heard it's almost like a vibration. You could feel it in, like the back of your neck.
Yeah, a lot of people say you can feel it more than you can feel a turkey drum.
Oh yeah.
I ran into a couple of them when I was in Colorado. That we jumped up, but it sounds like almost like a helicopter taking off. Like,
really?
It's
I know. I've seen the videos of when they drum or whatever.
Me and him were looking at each other like, dude, what? Like, I don't know if we're both.
Was it season out there? Could you shoot them?
I think you could have.
don't
Yeah,
know.
if you had a small
Could
game. Yeah, but I don't think we did. I think we just had a stamp and then the.
Yeah, I don't know if we did or not, but it was neat. We watched him. I mean, hell, he wasn't 5 or 6 yards from us, and he was just sitting there, and he'd do his drumming thing a few times, and then we worked off, and like the first day was just kind of like the first morning anyway for us. We just
Trying to get a feel for it.
yeah, trying to get a feel for it, and I learned real quick. I was like, okay, damn, these seals are a little more than I. Like, there was a couple times me and Brendan were hiking. I was out of breath, but I was also not in shape.
Yeah, I think we met back at my truck, and then we took this pretty crazy, I don't even know what you want to call it, gravel road. I mean, it was.
Oh, no, before that, so we're up on this road in the middle of nowhere. This road leads basically nowhere, like, but up in the mountains, thousands of acres. And me and Brendan are sitting there, and we're waiting on him and Jeremy to come out because they're hunting on. They had crossed the road and went to the other side.
Yeah.
And Brendan's like, yeah, since we've been here all week, like no one's been in here, no, tire marks, no nothing. Well, Brendan stops because he's in his wife's car, for one. And he parks it at this place where he already drove it farther up than I would have drove it. Like, cross some steep
Should
stuff.
have seen him in the morning. I was like,
Yeah.
man, I can't believe he's getting around this
Yeah.
car out there.
Yeah, so he drives it up farther than I would have drove it. And then, like, the next road, like, the road to keep going up was, like, bad. Like, you would have needed a razor or something. Well, Matt drove in his truck, but, like, big boulders, like, big washout ditches and stuff. And Brendan's like, yeah, I'm not going to go no farther or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I don't blame you. So me and him are standing there, and all of a sudden, well, actually, you guys have went up that road.
Mm-hmm. Walked up it.
Yes. And no, you guys drove up it. You and
At that point? Oh,
yes,
yeah, we did.
You and Jeremy drove
Right,
up it,
we
and
did.
we were waiting
Yeah.
at the bottom for you. And so we hear this truck coming back down. I'm like, oh, that's probably them or whatever. All of a sudden, there's this guy in this beat up white truck. I bet he come down this rock thing doing like 35, 40 miles an hour, and his truck's just like bouncing off the ground. His headlights are hanging out, like just the biggest pile of shit. And he just comes barreling off of there as quick as he could. I mean, his head had to be bouncing off the ceiling. Me and Brendan were both like, holy hell. He come driving down, and he like never even waved at us, just blew by us. And we were like, well, that was weird. And then we're standing there, and I hear like, it wasn't like 5 or 10 minutes later, and we hear like a truck coming up the road, and they're like getting after it, just flooring it. And obviously there's like there's these giant ditches and stuff. And
Oh, hello, little dog.
oh, our dog's out. Someone must have not shut the door. So anyway, here she comes.
Geese.
So anyway, we hear this car just like flooring it up the road, and it was a van, like Dad's work van. I don't even know what do you call them, like a cargo van?
Yeah, just a cargo van.
Comes flooring it up this road, and it says like some kind of plumbing company on it. And me and Brendan like looked at each other. They never even waved at us or nothing either. They just kept flooring it, and this van's like bouncing up and down the road. And me and him just looked at each other, and he was like, what in the hell did we just see? I was like, dude, I don't know. It said plumbing on the side of that van, and I'm like, there's like nothing up here. There's no houses, no nothing. Me and him were like, dude, that's just so weird, And like 2 younger kids in it. They go up the road, and they're up there for like 15, 20 minutes, and here they come back down in their van and just flying back down the road or whatever, never waved at us or nothing, and we're like, we don't even want to know. It's just like weird. So then they end up coming back down. And were you guys down there when the van came by?
No. We were still sitting on top of that ridge.
And then you guys came down to us, yeah. And then he drove his truck up this road, and we took it all the way out like as far as we could go.
We were on it for a while.
A long time.
And knowing what I know now, we would have stopped probably 20 times and made calls.
Yeah.
Turned the truck off.
Yeah.
Cover ground that way instead of just driving to a pin that someone dropped us.
Gave us.
Right.
But it got super windy out that day.
It did, yep.
I could imagine it being extremely hard to hunt birds in the mountains in the wind.
They're hard to hear.
Yeah, no, it is. Well, actually, we got to the top of that hill, and then some people came by us on a dirt bike.
Yep.
And then where me and Brendan heard these birds is kind of like a field down this valley or whatever. These people on this dirt bike just rip off the exact place that we wanted to go, like down the hill and like start ripping up through this field, and we were like,
I guess, can you ride side by side and shit through all the national forests or no?
Well, you can ride them up there, but there's a season.
There's a season.
We were about a week away from the season opening, which we learned later from like the locals in the small town that we stayed in. So they weren't even supposed to be there, but I don't think anybody's.
And
talking
who the fuck's up there,
and talking to the locals in this little town we stayed in, there was probably a population of 50 people, and they didn't give a shit about turkey hunting. Like, you talk to them, and like they just cared about deer, elk.
Well, it was crazy. I thought it was weird that so many people cared about elk. In there, with how rare it is to get a tag.
Yeah,
but
so you could get deprivation tags for elk there as a landowner, but other than that, you had to be able to prove like they were doing damage and stuff. But other than that, for a resident, it was like a once in a lifetime tag.
Mm-hmm.
It was, you could draw a tag every like 15 to 20 years. But once you drew a tag, you had to wait 10 years before you even start building points again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's how I think that's how Michigan's elk tag, like a lot of them weird states like that.
So, I mean, possibility you could draw in say 15 to 20 years. And then you have to wait 10 years, so that's 30 to 35, and then going to take you another 10 or 15. So technically, you could probably do it like
twice if you're lucky.
Twice in a lifetime, but that would be pushing it.
Yeah.
But they did kill some really nice bulls.
Yeah, we saw a cow. Cool. I mean, one of the guys we were with saw a cow. I ran into like pretty fresh sign while I was out there. I mean, you could smell them,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No sheds?
No, but these guys were pretty big into
shed hunting. Was huge.
Was a huge thing out there.
A lot of them western states it is.
They didn't care about their turkeys at all, and that's when they were telling us, because after the first day, we ended up Brendan and them's place that we were staying. We had to get out of it because it was booked again, and so it was about 30 minutes from where we were actually hunting there. So they had this little bar down in the town there, and it was like a really cool place.
Yeah, it was great.
It was built around trees. Like, they had trees just in the middle of the bar that they just built the roof and shit around. The lady was like, "Oh yeah, if it rains, like it'll just like run down the tree or whatever."
All the buildings there were like 130 to 150 years old.
Like, it was a really neat old little like
old mining camp town kind of, or just old settlement towns?
I think old settlement.
Yeah, there was like a general store. I think at one point it was like a railroad went through there.
One of them old west towns.
Which now it just seems like a place if you want to get away, go rent a side by side. I mean, there was a bunch of motorcycles around, driving through those hills and stuff. I mean,
it was pretty well just a little like settlement at a valley in the mountains.
Yeah,
there.
if you blinked, I mean, you would have driven right past it.
But it was a really cool place. So we go in this bar and we're just kind of chilling, and we have no clue where we're staying for the night. Like, we're just gonna do whatever, and it was like midday, and so we were kind of gonna wait to go like out hunting for the evening.
Right.
And so Matt's talking to these. Well, first of all, this lady's in there. She comes in there, and she had a pretty big mouth on her or whatever, but she was like talking to us like where we're from or whatever, and we just told her, and she's like, "Well, they call me Big Mama." We were like,
the town whore.
Yeah. I don't know, but she had this hat on, everything said Big Mama, and that's what they called her.
Yeah.
Was she fat as hell?
No.
Really?
She was just like an average white old lady.
Yeah. She just walked in. She was cussing like a sailor and
drinking.
Yeah, she said, "Give me a damn beer," whatever. She was just sitting there pounding beers.
Well, there's literally nothing else to do in them towns.
No, that's the spot. Yeah. That's the spot.
But the locals started. So anyway, well, Matt,
Yeah, well, I'm trying to figure out where we're going to sleep that night.
Yeah.
Because, like, we're kind of running out of time. We're going to go hunt this evening.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, this Big Mama, she
knows where to
knows
sleep.
where we're sleeping. So I was like, can we stay in, like, one of your cabins? Because I'm thinking, like, she's, like, the owner, how she's, like, talking to everybody. And she was like, oh, I'll help you out. Why don't you hop on with me and get my side-by-side? I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So me, Brendan, and Jeremy are in the bar there. And
I leave all my shit, too.
Yeah, he leaves all his stuff. And she's like, she's like, though the cabins aren't really open yet, but she's like, we could make something work. I know where the owners were. So Matt leaves. And this is like 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it would have been, somewhere.
No, probably closer to 5. But it didn't get dark out there till like 9:30. So we weren't going to make it out till like 6 or so. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll be back quick. We're sitting there. I'm not kidding you. Like an hour goes by. I'm like, damn, where the hell's Matt at? Looking outside, it's still really, really light. Light out, like, damn, where's Matt at? Like another hour goes by, like 2 hours, and people start pouring in the bar at this point. And a couple people, or some people in like the locals in there were like, damn, where'd your buddy go? I was like, I have no clue. Big Mama's got him. Yeah, we were sitting there and
I
we
was
were like,
kidnapped.
yeah, we were like, Jesus, what do you think he's doing with Big Mama? So anyway,
Hope your wife's not listening.
right.
well then,
Who's this Big Mama bitch?
yeah, I think Big Mama ended up coming back in, and we were like,
She
yeah,
just
like,
You
murders
guys
Matt.
only want to know the pain I went through.
Matt's just dead in the woods.
well, we asked like a few people in there. We were like, hey, have you seen our buddy or whatever? And one guy's like, oh, he's laying out in the road. We were like, okay. Another guy's like, oh, he's in a hole out there. We were like, all right. We don't
Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know.
No, it was fine. I mean, I'm tired. We've been up since
Yeah.
3:30.
Yeah.
She drives me over to this one lady. She's like, oh, well, we got this single cabin. We got this double cabin. She was kind of like shy. Meanwhile, Big Mama's telling me all about the town, which I
Yeah.
can't remember all of it.
Yeah.
Telling me about where the original building was, the general store. So I talked to her, and I was like, well, there's 4 of us. And I was like, we can figure out the bed situation. Like, it's fine. Or, like, someone can, bunk up
Right.
on the ground or whatever. And she's like, well, you need to talk to my dad. He's the one that can maybe give you a deal. Because there was, like, a bigger one that could fit, like, 13 people. I'm like, well, we don't need
Yeah,
any.
we got.
Well, then I get introduced to the owner there, and older guy, kind of like, I would almost kind of losing his mind a little bit, very slow. And he was like,
And this is Big Mama's dad?
so Big Mama's out of the picture. Big Mama owns a cafe right down the road. She's just
It's called Big Mama's Cafe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's her thing. Big Mama dropped me off, and now I'm with this guy. I can't remember his name. It was like,
Big Daddy.
yeah, it was Big Daddy. So I'm hanging out with Big Daddy, and he takes me to this room. Before you know it, I'm like getting this place set up. I'm helping him turn on
takes
the
you to
hot
a
water.
room?
The cabin. Okay.
I was gonna say I didn't hear about this one.
Nothing weird happened in the room. But I mean, I'm helping him set up this place to get it ready. He's like, oh, there's sheets here. We're like moving beds around, and I'm like, dude, you're killing me, man.
Yeah,
You're
Matt's
literally
hooking up the
killing
hot
me.
water heater
I'm like,
and everything.
I'm like hooking everything up for him, and then we go into his like office, which was in like a 150-year-old country store or whatever, and I had to help him check me out on the computer because he couldn't figure out how to get it like going. He's like, oh, my daughter normally does this. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, what's your card information? I could see him struggling trying to like type it in. I'm like, oh, dude, scoot over. Let me help you. I've been gone for like, I didn't know how long I was gone for, but I knew the sun was starting to go down. I'm like, I need to get back to the bar.
Yeah.
But he worked us out a deal. We didn't have to pay like the full price for it or anything.
Yeah, no.
I mean, they were super nice people. I mean, all in all.
Yeah. And it worked out great because it was like 2 minutes from where we
Seriously.
were hunting, and the bar was right there, and like we had made a couple friends with the locals and stuff. And it was, to be honest with you, for a town that was so small and everything, their food was unbelievable.
Oh yeah. I mean, what do we have? Lobster mac
We
and
had like
cheese?
lobster
talking to the
pasta
bartender
or something, and it was
I'm like,
unreal.
I was like, you have lobster mac and cheese here? I'm like, is that actually good? She's like, be honest with you, all of our food's really good.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna order it. I mean, I don't know how fresh this lobster is, but
Right.
yeah, probably the best lobster mac and cheese I ever had.
It was-
I mean,
it was awesome.
It was.
I got the same
phenomenal.
thing.
Yeah.
So everything, even when we ate in there the next night, whatever, it was damn good. But Matt ends up finally like coming back in at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and like it's still light out, but it's like, dude, we ain't making it anywhere to hunt because I mean, the birds are probably already where they're, going to roost. So we just decided, like, we're just going to have another beer or two, and we were going to go roost a bird. So we go up the hill, and we kind of, like, actually, one of the locals was like,
He was telling us where.
yeah, so there was,
Where to
like,
go.
this, like, cemetery down there in the bottom, and he was like, oh, I see birds every day. And we were like, really? He's like, yep, every day, 7 o'clock in the morning. He's like, I drive by, they'll be there. And we were like, well, hell, like, that's what we needed to know. So we go over there to kind of roost birds, and we park his truck, and we're standing there, and these people come ripping up the road on a side-by-side, and they got millions of acres to ride around or whatever, come blowing around his truck. And we're just standing there in the field, camo on everything. They come, like, drive some circles around us, got these LED lights lighting up everywhere, blasting Taylor Swift music, just, like, full of people.
Right. This was Friday now, so
Yeah.
the whole week that Brennan and Jeremy were out there, they didn't have to deal.
They said they ain't seen
nobody's
anyone,
out here.
But me and him were kind of talking like, well, Brendan the whole time was, dude, there's no one out here. It's awesome. Me and him were kind of like, well, I wonder how the weekend is.
Yeah, the only two gays in South Dakota drove by.
Oh, I swear they were like doing
It
circles.
was a party, yeah, and but they blasted up that mountain, and all of a sudden they're just shot gobbles everywhere.
Well, yeah, we're like pissed off because we're like, are you serious? Like they could have went anywhere on the road, and like obviously they seen his truck. We're standing there in camo.
Turkish shot gobbled to Taylor Swift.
I swear. Like we're standing there kind of pissed off, like, dude, what do we do now? And they rip up this road right in front of us. I'm just standing there, and I like all of a sudden I turn and I'm like, Brenda, did you hear that? He's like, no. I'm like, I swear I just heard a gobble. And then they were up there, you could just hear their music bumping or whatever, and the turkeys were just bow, bow, going off, and we were like, what the hell?
Yeah, hoot out call wouldn't work.
No, but yeah,
Taylor
them
Swift.
blasting music up there. So then we obviously knew where a bird was, but we went in there the next morning, set up on him,
and played Taylor Swift.
yeah, we should have.
We
We'd
should
had more.
have.
We'd
Just
had
opened
more,
up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd have more luck, I think. This bird starts gobbling. We set up pretty close to it, and keep in mind, I don't know if we said this, but there were so many white-tailed deer out there that it's not even funny.
30 some plus a day running by you, like within
Every sit.
shooting
Yeah.
distance. I mean,
I wonder how hard it is to get up. South
And you know how it
Dakota
is turkey
whitetails
hunting.
out.
You don't really hunt the wind, or you're not doing,
Yeah.
out there walking around. I've never heard so many deer blowing and snorting in my life. Like I was,
yeah, they were the goofiest deer because they would like blow at you, stomp, and then they would come back and do it again.
yeah,
Yeah.
for like all morning long. I was getting so mad because they would like blow, run, and then come in from a different direction, blow, run, come back in from a different direction. And I'm like, not again. Like I was just getting pissed. But so we go to set up this in the morning on this bird that we heard gobbling at Taylor Swift music, and we set up pretty close to him, and these deer come right out from where this bird is, blow and run right underneath this turkey, and I'm like, yeah, I think this is over. We sat there anyway. Turkey hits the ground, never gobbles again, and we ended up. I hear like a stampede of stuff coming from behind us, and I'm thinking like elk or something. Someone's horses got out from somewhere, and out of all places to run, they literally like run over top of us, and then they're like running circles around the decoys and shit, and like running all around us, and I'm like,
We were
seriously?
having a tough time.
Like, what even is this? We're on like public ground. We got people riding motorcycles around us, people blasting music, someone's horses running around us. There's 1 million acres here, like out of any place, it's all around us.
Right.
So we get up. We went down to like this field where this guy was seeing all these birds, I guess. We were kind of like setting in an area to cut them off, like from the timber to this field. Never seen them. So we were like, all right, we don't
Yeah.
really know.
Luckily that morning though, when it came out of the cabin, like there was like, I mean, public was started like right there, and I got out there early and I heard one hammering in there.
You did.
And when we left from giving up on that part of the hunt in the morning, we were just driving roads and just trying to scout. We saw a couple hens cross in there, and then you could kind of go back down this private drive, which was kind of like a neighborhood, and I call it a neighborhood. It wasn't,
Yeah, I mean, it was the town population.
it was
of people.
it was like the town.
Yeah, just
know?
where the people live.
But we saw another hen come out of there into their fields right out of that same public ground. So I was like, Landen, I think that's where we're gonna go tomorrow. At least start there. I mean, for some reason these birds are wanting to cross through here.
But it was odd, like even 6:30 in the morning, hens are already by themselves. Like, we didn't see a tom at all. Like you'd hear them, there was a bunch in there, but
yeah,
wouldn't-
they hit the ground and shut up.
yeah,
it
hit
was
the ground, and you wouldn't hear another peep all day.
yeah. And I've always heard Merriam's like, if you find them, they're easy to kill. They're easier than our Easterns back home. But I'm like,
And I had people, like, when me and you were out there hunting Rios and they just, like, wouldn't shut up. I had people being like, oh, are you hearing them? And I'm like, yeah, they're hammering on the roost. And they're like, oh, usually usually Merriams never shut up. They gobble like silly.
right?
And
Like they want to be killed.
yeah, and there
Not
was
these
nothing.
birds.
Like, they would hit the ground, that would be it. And they would gobble to the weirdest stuff. Like, you cut them a call, wouldn't gobble. Like like crows were out there like crazy too. Wouldn't gobble to crows. Like, they would
I
just
wonder, would you say it's from like maybe pressure? Is it like off-season pressure of them?
So I think based off like talking to the locals and one of our buddies we got up with, like he thinks it was just the
it got too hot too. Kind of like here.
like they bred early.
Yeah, it was just a strange ass
It was
year.
a
like
weird
here.
year.
You know how hard it was here? We've talked about it on different podcasts. Like, as we got up there, it was like the same thing. He was just like, I've never seen a year like this. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
Right.
tough.
And as far as the pressure goes, there is a lot of pressure, but we only ran into one other true group of.
We ran into
Hunters.
one other group of hunters.
And then besides that one dude that was blasting down the road that you said had camo on.
oh,
that
yeah.
didn't stop.
The guy come blasting down the road in his camo, but I mean, I don't know that how well he was actually hunting.
So
but
get into the day where you actually
yeah,
shoot
so,
it.
on. Yeah.
so
So that next morning we
decided to set up where he was talking, where we'd
where I
seen
was
these
talking.
birds.
Right.
Because that's where the local had said they were, and he
Right.
had heard that one right out the door there. So
Yeah, we hopped over there in the morning and we heard one gobble, and we're like, "Oh man, he's close." We heard a hen. We're like, "All right," so we moved down on him, and I swear it sounded like we were within 100 yards from him. We get down to the bottom of there, he hammers again.
it sounds like he's
Sounds like-
400 yards.
Yeah,
Far
Really?
like I know these birds got to be there.
right. So we go out into that field that we end up making it out to the field where that local said that he always sees them at 7:00. We set up there, we hear him, we make calls. And he sounds like back up where they were been roosting this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we set up in this field. We like go back and we set on this tree where I'm facing one way, Landon's facing the other. And it's kind of funny, but it was Mother's Day that day. And I told Landon, I was like, I texted my mom and grandma, so I'm about to have some good luck come my way. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, did you hear that gobble? And I was like, no, I didn't hear anything. I'm like, dude, come over here.
It's like an hour after they're off the roost. We didn't hear nothing. I'm about to fall asleep.
And we haven't heard. I mean, any day we've been hunting, like
No.
we
Haven't heard shit off
We
the
haven't heard
roost.
shit. So it hammers again. We're like, let's go. So we start moving. Think we're gonna meet him up. Kind of going through this. I wouldn't say it was a mountain, but kind of like a pretty big hill. And we get up in there. He sounds like he's 200 yards away.
Yeah, he gobbles again, but it's like sounds like he's farther, and I'm like, dude, I don't know. So once again, like he's saying, we go a little farther, and I'm like, I don't know how far I want to go. I'm like, let's just wait to hear him again. We wait, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, gobbles again. It's like,
Farther.
yeah. And I'm like, what? We ended up, this ain't no shit. We crossed from one side, we walked through the middle of town with our decoys, like guns, everything, like crawling through people's basically like driveways and stuff to get to the next public because this bird ended up being clear on the other side of town.
Right. And we get up, we climb up to the top of that hill, and I call it my D1 too. My grandpa does this call that you might think is crazy, but for some reason gets him to like shock gobble. I just hit like a loud cut on the call, and we heard it. We're like, okay,
Yeah,
we know he's up on top of this other ridge, and we were kind of working down one. And as we're working down, Landon's got his
Reaper.
with him, and
Ross.
we're working down, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, I see a bird. And it was on the other ridge, probably 170 yards from us or whatever. So we're like, we sit down, and Landon can't see him. I'm like, oh shit, no, there's 2 of them. He's like, no, okay. Oh, no, there's 3 of them. Okay. No, there's 4 of them.
Yeah,
there's
Matt
4 of
keeps
them.
telling me like there's more birds, and I'm like, I do not see them at all. He's like, they're coming.
They're
I'm
coming.
like,
Making these light calls, and they're coming in, but and Landon's just got his decoy up there.
I'm just holding my decoy in front of me. I'm like, I can't even see them at all. Like,
Right.
just-
right.
And we're kind of sitting in the middle of like we just got blindsided because I'm not going to shit you not. They gobbled the whole time until we got to where we like basically we were like, all right, they have to be here, and it was super pretty. We crest this big basically mountaintop, and this hillside's just really open valley there, and
There's like a valley where we were on one side and they were on the other, and they were working.
And I told him,
down.
I'm like, them birds had to be right here, and we're just kind of sitting there, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what happens over there. That's when he does his he like beats on the call and some shit. And I'm not kidding. Like, it's weird, but they hammer.
Yeah, it's a weird. Yeah, it worked. I don't know.
I wouldn't have believed him if left it work because he was trying to show it to me that one day, but he like beats on the damn thing and they like gobble to it, and I'm like, holy hell! And so we sit down and he's like, yeah, he starts.
Yeah,
seeing
so
them.
yeah, they worked down, but in hindsight, when we didn't know, I just saw they all had red heads, and I felt like it was so tough out there. Like I wasn't gonna wait to see if it was a Jake or not.
Right.
But he had his decoy up, and they were all Jakes, but we didn't know that at the time, and that they didn't want to work closer to us. He almost thought that they maybe saw it.
Yeah, I don't know what would have happened if like I wouldn't held the decoy up or we just would have sat there. Like I don't know if they would have been smart enough to or like actually pick us out because we were in some wooded stuff, but we're also on an open hillside, just sitting against nothing.
Right.
Like we just completely
like
sat down.
no trees behind us or anything.
So I don't know if they would have actually, or they would have come in like looking more, but they were coming once I seen them. And I don't know. I was sitting behind the decoy and I was looking out there, and Matt's obviously shooting first.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, one comes by this tree. I'm like, dude, do you think that's too far?
Well, they started putting.
They did, yeah, a little bit, but they weren't acting like they were.
They weren't going to run, but I think they were
But
just like
it was getting close.
I think they were intimidated.
Yeah.
They just kind of started putting like they didn't know, and they were doing the whole circling thing where they were just kind of spinning circles, like not coming any farther.
Right.
Like, we were kind of like unsure.
But one passes by, the second one goes, the third one goes, and the whole time I'm like, Landon, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on this. I know it's far. I don't know how far it is. I'm thinking anywhere between 50 and 70 yards,
I'm thinking like 90.
Yeah, because he's looking through,
Yeah, I'm like peeking through the feathers of the fan.
And I'm like, I'm gonna hang it high and shoot. So the last one goes through and sticks his head up, and I held it above him. I mean, my gun, the way it's set up, should be able to hit, be lethal at about 70 yards. And freaking shot. When I shot, freaking Landon jumps up. He starts running out there. We go down the hill. He falls in this little pit. He like jumps back up and he's running. I'm like fucking running behind him. And we get out there and these birds are all kind of scattering. He shoots at one that's trying to fly off. He's like, bam! And then freaking, and I'm like, God damn! And then he sees my bird flapping on the ground. He's like, bam! And blows out fucking all the nice feathers that it has. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, we got him. I'm like, he's dead. He's like, oh yeah, he's dead now. Yeah. I'm like, God damn it, Landon.
Matt never told me what to like. I'm under the impression like the whole time, like, oh, are we on a whole group of longbeards or jakes? He even asked me, he's like, would you shoot a jake? And I'm like, dude, that's the last probably trip of the year, and like we're out here for like,
dude, it was so tough.
2 more days. Yeah. Like if we seen a jake, I'd probably shoot it.
And we didn't even know it was until we got up there.
And, well,
honestly.
I mean, not for me necessarily, but like he struggled enough in Missouri as well, and like didn't kill a bird here. And I was like, dude, I would shoot anything that's legal.
Yeah.
And so, which we completely thought they were longbeards. We had no clue, and they were too damn far to really see. He shoots after I was like, I don't know, that's pretty far. He shoots. Never does he say like, oh, I got him, or he's flopping or whatever. And I don't even see the bird when he shoots. I just hear him shoot, and I'm like, hell with it. I get up and just take, like, I dropped my vest, dropped everything. I still got the reaping decoy in one hand, my gun in the other, and I'm like running through these rocks and mountain shit, tripping, face planting in the ditch, throw the decoy down. I pop up out of the ditch and I'm running, and these birds like don't really know what's going on, but they're kind of running, and I'm just shooting on the run, like run out, and I like find one running up the hill, and I just boom shoot at it, and of course it's too far, it like keeps running, and I turn over, and Matt's bird's like pretty much like we probably could have got it, but and also after we ran yours down 200 yards in Kansas, I was like, I'm not chasing this damn thing up the mountain.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just turn and like just blow it away, like on the run, just poof. And I completely just like feathers with like pillowcased it. And Matt's like, was that my bird? I was like, yeah, I just finished it off. And like all these nice white feathers just everywhere.
Yeah, he's picking them up. He's like, I'm going to save that one. I'm going to save that one.
Yeah, we're picking off the remaining of the feathers. But ended up...
It stayed together, I mean, mostly. I mean, it was just small
but
ones.
Me and him were like super pumped. We're like, no way, we just got it
shocked.
done.
I mean, it was tough. I mean...
Yeah, it was so tough on us.
It was, I mean, a lot of hiking and stuff, and... But yeah, it was a 60-yard shot.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
And he definitely basically killed it. I mean, it was up there flopping. I just got excited and trigger happy and was letting
adrenaline.
I was letting lead fly, and I shot.
We needed to get a bird on this trip.
I shot anyway, and it was his, the only bird he killed this year, and it was. I'm telling you, it was a pretty bird. It was white tipped,
right? Super white. Yeah.
It was really white. Whenever you sent me the picture of it, I was like, damn.
And the area that we killed it in, like it couldn't have been any prettier.
You know, come to find out, after hunting with Connor, like to get the really white tips in public in the Black Hills, like is pretty rare.
Yeah, he said about a 10% chance.
Like
that
most of them are kind of that
ice
caramel
white.
looking,
Yeah.
kind of like Landon.
Creamy.
Landon's
Like
bird.
they're still really, really light, but they still have that little bit of cream to them. He said to get an ice white one was about 10%.
Yeah.
So Matt's was ice white, basically,
I
like
mean.
white as could be. But we're all jacked up, like excited. Like, hell
we're like, the trip's made now,
Yeah.
you know,
Hell
like,
yeah, like-
we got a bird and
yeah, I got my shooting in.
yeah, right.
killed one.
He shot more than me
Yeah.
on the trip. He shot 4 times.
I did. I shot twice. I shot twice at one of the birds running away, and then I shot his bird on the ground already.
Yeah.
And then so after that, we're all like excited and stuff, and we go take a bunch of pictures, take some really cool pictures.
Yeah.
And it was funny because to come back out of where we had to walk back through town. So me and him were just walking down the street of town and got this bird over our shoulders, just walking through the middle of town, and our truck's parked in like the church over there.
The church, yeah.
And we're like, oh, we better, move before church is in session. Well, we go, we take some pictures and stuff, pretty cool, and go buy some ice and stuff. And one of the local guys was like, "Was that you guys up there shooting this morning?"
Yeah, right.
I was like,
the whole town heard us freaking boom,
yeah,
come on,
yeah. There's more shooting than they heard in a while. But we were telling them like, yeah, that was us up there. And I told them, I was like, yeah, I did a little shooting
right.
I just got excited. We were trying to double up. I thought I could shoot the one, but I also was shooting it on the run, and I completely whipped. But I obviously shot his because it was a sitting duck. But after that, we took some, like I said, we took the picture and stuff, and then we were like, well, now what? What are we gonna do? So we went up actually, and we set where we thought they were roosted for like.
Oh, we forgot about that. Yeah,
Like 6 hours?
The evening before. Yeah, we set up where we were pretty sure one was roosting.
There was some sign and stuff in there too, but we set for like 6 hours. Never seen a turkey or
just
nothing.
heard a hen.
Just heard a hen. But I bet
Raspiest hen I
we
probably
probably
ever
saw
heard.
100 deer, but
Yeah.
no turkeys, and like it was just super tough. So anyway, after he kills his bird and stuff,
Well, yeah. So we decide, like, you know what? We're so close to Mount Rushmore. Like, let's go up there and just.
How
see it,
far?
'cause
How far were you?
We were about an hour away.
Yeah.
From
yeah,
it.
not
So
that far.
Pretty cool.
yeah, and then it was cool. It was
Oh,
cooler
yeah,
than
no,
I
it was
thought
cool.
it was.
It was-
Be a lot cooler if they put Donald Trump on that motherfucker.
yeah.
It sits a lot higher than I thought.
Yeah. No, I remember my wife. She's like, "Do you know all 4 presidents on there?" I'm like, "I think so. I think I got 3 out of the 4." And then what is it? Is it Thomas Jefferson? Is he one of them?
Yeah,
or
it's Thomas Jefferson,
Abe
Teddy
Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, and George Washington.
and George Washington.
Yeah. So that was cool, but our plan was to go back into the town we were staying in and then evening hunt. And
But I had texted a few people just kind of that I'd known out there just because it had been super tough and we have like a day left, and it's just like, hey man, like we were just trying.
we were trying to get, like, honestly, like if we could get permission on private or whatever.
We were just trying anything because these birds that we had been after, not that we had even seen them or pressured them a whole lot, but it just wasn't working. Like they were gobbling on the roost, flying down, and that was it.
Right.
So we ended up meeting up with one
got-
of Matt's buddies, Connor Brockhouse.
So I met him at a TAC event, and we just talked about turkey hunting and exchanged numbers. And I knew he lived in South Dakota, so I was talking with Lane. I was like, man, let's just hit him up and see if he can maybe help us out. And he hit us back.
Yeah,
and
super nice guy. He
Super
ended
nice
up
dude.
being like, he's only in town for like 8 days, but he's like, yeah, let's go. So we were going to go, and then he called us back and was like, oh, I forgot it's Mother's Day. He's like, I got to do this like big family thing. And we're like, oh, dude, no worries, whatever. And so me and him were like, well, now what are we going to do? And then he called us right back and was like, nope, never mind. I got it.
Yeah, we were like, he's like, I got out of it.
I
Like,
got
we're
out of
whipping
that.
this bitch around. Let's
yeah,
go.
yeah. He's like, I got out of that. Let's go hunting. And we were like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Like, we're like, yeah, sure, let's go.
And I was super impressed with him. I mean, we got in his truck and we started driving around, and he kind of almost taught us how to hunt these birds, you know.
Yeah.
But talk about like knocking on doors. Like we're going and we spot some strutters out there in the field, and all of a sudden we're driving down this guy's gravel road. I'm like, oh, can we hunt here? He's like, I don't know. He's told me no twice, but we're gonna go try again.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
Damn.
dude was relentless.
I
but
mean, relentless.
he had a lot of ground that he's able to hunt or worked out with landowners.
Is he local right there then?
He is local. He lives literally right by
Mount Rush.
Really?
Mount Rushmore.
So, like I said, we go with him, and there was a few fields that we found that had birds in them, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go ask this guy." And just the guy was like, nah, or no.
Well, he said we could bow hunt the first
Yeah, he
guy.
said we could bow hunt, but I didn't have my bow, and so we drove around the whole first evening and saw tons of
strutters.
birds.
It was
a lot
great.
of, some beautiful
And
birds.
And like I think that's whenever I realized, like, you know, like when you see like an eastern out here and you drive your truck, like they take off running. You can out there. I mean, we were driving within like
They're
10
bird
yards.
feeder birds.
Yeah, we're like,
Yeah.
Oh,
full
they're-
strut. We're like, what the hell?
Yeah, me and him were just watching them. I was like, and at the end of the day, like I told him, I was like, you know what? Even if like I don't kill nothing, I don't really care. Like just seeing all the birds, because where we were hunting, we'd hear them, but you just wouldn't see them.
Yeah.
I mean, we were hunting this thick timber and stuff, you know. And when we went with him, obviously, which for a living out there, he knew where these birds were, and we saw some pretty strutters. Just
Oh, we saw a
White
beautiful
tip.
one, which out in South Dakota, you can, if you call them in the ditch, you can shoot 'em.
apparently you can shoot them like in the ditch.
That's legal. And we tried to make a move on this one.
I tried to get him in the ditch. but it didn't.
Beautiful white. I mean, he was.
So if you're standing in a road ditch, you can shoot them.
Yep.
I think if they're in a
Like-
road ditch, I guess you could.
Like Iowa.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, can you shoot them off the road, or you have
Well,
to be?
I think you got to be out of your vehicle.
I think you have to be out of your vehicle.
but you
to be
have,
on
but
the
you
road.
got to be on the road, and you can just shoot them.
I think so.
From
Really?
from my
From-
understanding.
from-
I mean,
yeah, from
in,
our
in the
understanding.
to make a move on.
Fuck,
them,
don't let Adam go out there.
you could drive down and like basically you drive down out of sight, hop in the ditch.
Yeah.
But we tried.
Yeah,
on
we tried to
one.
call one to a
He would
ditch,
answer
and
back, but
he would gobble. It just
you
wasn't
couldn't get him
gonna
over.
happen.
Yeah.
And obviously, you got to call him through a fence, you know,
Right.
and legally do it. And that's the only thing we were doing. We were filming, and but we had a heck of a time. And I was like, dude, even if we don't kill nothing, like it was awesome. Well, he kept saying, if you had a bow, I have some really good spots. But in South Dakota, you can't shoot a firearm within 220 yards of a house. Unless you have permission, but you not only have to get permission from like the landowner, but like
All the
their-
surrounding
all the
houses.
neighbors, and like everything.
yeah.
So anyway,
So if you're going back out, you pretty well need to take your bow with you.
yes,
I would take both, and I would actually apply for a prairie tag
Prairie
as well
tag.
too, because those birds seem to be a little bit easier to get. I mean, it was really. I mean, to get one in the Black Hills, I think is an achievement. You know,
Yeah.
public land, just because it's so tough.
yeah. But so Connor has this spot, and he's like, these birds come through basically these people's house every day, like in their yard every day. So we drive.
Literally in their yard.
Yeah, so we drive by there at night, and you can see they're kind of back in the woods a little bit, but you can see like their house light shining in the woods. He pulls off the side of the road, and he just like owl hoots right out the window, and they like it sounds like 3 or 4 of them in there just hammer. Like
hammer.
it sounds like they're right on top of this guy's house.
We're literally right behind their house.
And me and Matt looked at him and was like, "Holy
We
cow!"
found the honey hole.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
found where the birds are at, and he does it again, and they just like hammer again right on this guy's house, and me and him were looking at each other like, "Oh yeah, this is going down."
Done deal.
But I had to go to his house, and I was shooting his brother's bow.
Practicing.
Yeah,
like
practicing.
making sure.
Oh yeah, you sent me a video of
Which
it.
those new prime bows are freaking
Dude,
awesome.
yeah, his
Ridiculous.
brother's bow.
Like,
I've been saying it for the last 2 years. If I bought a new bow, I'd buy a prime.
I drew it back and I was like, man, this is like 60 pounds. Like, what are we doing? You know? And he was like, it should be like 72, 73. I mean, it's a little bit over 7. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I was impressed, but I mean,
What kind of sight did he have on it?
he had the UV slider.
The UV
which is,
slider.
yeah.
Yeah, it was sick. We were shooting it, and
Single pin or
No,
yeah.
2?
He
Yeah,
was
it
rocking the same one as,
was he?
I think so.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
like-
yeah,
it was
yeah,
a
yeah.
It was a 3.
You're right, because he told me to aim with the top pin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So we were shooting like 10, 15 yards, and he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "They'll be within 15 yards," and I was like, "Yeah, you get them within 15 yards, we're cold," and we were shooting some. So me and Matt decided we didn't even go back all the way to our house.
Now
the
got a
place we were staying
hotel
that
right
night.
at the base of Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, because we were so tired, we just got a hotel at Mount Rushmore
yeah.
there. Because so it gets light out in the morning in South Dakota at like 4:30, and it doesn't get dark till like 9:30. So by the time you come off like the mountain and stuff, and you get in bed, and
You have
then
no time to sleep.
Yeah,
You're
like-
just running on
yeah, we were running on
fumes.
nothing.
Yeah.
So we get this hotel. We wake up in the morning and like I'm super excited. Like, yeah, this is awesome. We literally go up. He parks his truck like 15 yards from the
In the
blind.
drive, I mean, we're in the
Yeah,
driveway,
we're in the
little
driveway.
circle driveway, gravel.
Yeah. There's like a roundabout in their driveway of gravel, and there's like one little like patch of grass there in the middle. We set the blind in the gravel and set our decoys in this little like patch of
Yeah,
grass.
we're on rock.
Yeah.
Like, like the house. what, the house is probably 40 yards from us.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and they're in there sleeping, you
Yeah.
know, and we're just
And
out
these-
here hunting on their driveway.
Yeah, and these birds are like, these birds are like
They're
hammering,
hammering like
over top their
50
house.
yards from us, and he's like, "They always come down here. They always do."
Yeah, he
They
kept showing us
always
like
do."
they're
He's
always
like,
coming. I'm like,
"Get ready."
yeah,
Get
I'm
ready.
sitting there like, oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome, you know. And he's got his truck parked like 15, 20 yards out, trying to like funnel them through the middle there, you know, just close.
You'll see it in the videos.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, here's his truck, here's the house, and we're right here.
These birds are just hammering. And what we had so many rabbits just hopping around in the yard.
There was a
and
bunch
shit.
of wildlife going on there, but he had it down. He was like, "Yeah, there's 4 Jakes, there's 2 Toms." But then that day, which he doesn't normally hear, there was like a couple hens.
A
with
hen
them.
started cutting or whatever, and he's like, "Damn, there's a hen in there today or whatever." So we're waiting. It's like these birds typically don't fly down till like late or whatever, and he's like, they'll be here within 10 minutes. It's like, all right, cool. They fly down, waited, and I hear one gobble, and like it sounds like it's way off, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I just heard one gobble way off. And he's like, really? And then we waited again, and it gobbles, and it's like way off, and he's like, no way.
Yep. Yeah,
like-
he was shocked, and he's like, "All right, we're done here."
Yeah.
Packed up everything like immediate. We were like
Yeah,
back to the
blast.
road.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to waste time here, whatever. So we completely got out and left. And he, for whatever reason, the birds just didn't come through. I think it was because me and Matt were there. Because he said like every other time they come through this guy's yard, he's like, I could not believe they didn't come through. And I'm like, I can. Me and Matt are here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. This has been our luck.
like this is just us.
Yeah.
So we get in the truck and we keep driving around like different places he had permission. And he would just drive, like stop, cut a call. Nope, not here, nothing. Get in the truck. We'd keep driving.
And I think that's one thing I'll do differently is like how he
He was
doing it.
covering a shit ton of ground
Covering
really
ground.
quickly.
And I was even asking him in, you know, where you end up killing your bird. Like, I was like, man, would you get down in here in the mountain and start making calls? He's like, no, walk the road, you know, or walk the trail and make calls and cover ground and just keep
like-
making calls until something
He,
answers
he
back.
said all of
Okay, we're gonna cut this whole part out of the podcast so no one else ever kills shit out there.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
there's only like,
Don't tell anybody.
there's
okay?
only like 15 people there.
Yeah, I was gonna say there'll be a total of about 5 people that listen, anyways.
But
So.
no, so we go to the spot and he had some other guys coming in to hunt. They had prairie tags. They were going down to the prairie.
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, this is probably gonna be my last spot. And I was like, all right, man. And I wasn't really even bummed because I was like, this is just, it was awesome just even that he even took us and
Right.
we were hunting. So we go to this last spot and like my hopes aren't like super high, but we drive up this mountain as high as we can get. And then we get out and we finish walking this road. And
Probably like a mile and a half we went in.
at least. And he's just booking it. And I'm like trying to walk as fast as I can and like probably half a mile in, my legs are just burning. I'm like, all right, I can't stop. I just keep going. I turn around, Matt's like way behind us.
Well, I stopped. I heard something. I'm like, and I'm trying to film, and I look back up. I'm like, holy shit, these guys are freaking halfway up the freaking mountain. So I'm like trying to huck it up there, and then still try to like video at the same time. And yeah, I got way behind.
Yeah. So Connor would like stop every so often. He would call and then nothing. We'd keep going. But keep in mind, we're on the side of this mountain. The wind's blowing 50 miles an hour. And I'm like, yeah, we ain't going to hear nothing. You know, we keep walking up this road. And I didn't know when he was going to turn around, but we probably made it a good mile and a half, 2 miles up this road. And he finds some like fresh turkey shit. And he just reaches down, picks it up with his hands, like mushes it around. It's like, yeah, it's pretty fresh. And I was like, all right. And
This
he's
guy's
like,
the real deal.
yeah, he's like, you see them tracks right there? And I was looking at the tracks, and I'm like, them tracks did look pretty fresh. Because before me and Matt got there, it must have rained like a ton.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, them tracks look pretty fresh or whatever. So we kind of walk up a little farther, and we stop, and he cuts this call, and this hen literally just cuts him off. And she couldn't have been about 100 yards. Like, cuts him off. And he's like, sit down, sit down. We're like, all right. And I like rush back across the road, like tuck up under this little tree, like not hidden very well at all. Matt kind of sits behind me, and Connor runs like down the road to like call.
Yeah.
And I sit down and I turn around and I can already see her. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how I didn't bust her. Like if we had decoys to set up, we'd have been busted. I just turned around and she was already marching down the road.
She was, yeah. I mean, she came waddling in.
And we could probably see, as far as we could see up the road was probably 85, 90 yards, you think? Mm-hmm. So that's probably as far as we could see up the road. So she had to be just on the other side, just pop over. And so Connor starts calling again, and then she starts calling, and whenever she started calling, I heard a gobble. And I was like, oh, like there is a longbeard with her or whatever. And then it wasn't no time I see him. He comes strutting down over the hill, and I was like, holy crap, this is like, in a matter, like we always
matter
say,
of seconds.
like turkey season goes from like the lowest of lows to flip of a switch right away. Like we were not hear nothing, super windy, and within 2 minutes we're sitting there and we got a strutter on top of us. But we didn't have any decoys out, didn't even have the Reaper or nothing with us. And the one hen just comes marching right to us, like 10 yards, 12, I don't know, 15 yards at most. And she's just sitting there. And I thought, there's no way she's not going to pick us off. Like, I'm like,
I mean, we were just off the side of the road
Yeah.
underneath this like pine tree.
yeah, not even a very big pine tree.
No mask, nothing.
No,
Like we were
just sitting there.
Sitting there.
But she never really did. She sat there and she cackled a little bit, and then she walked, like she dropped off the mountain there.
Yeah.
And but he sat up there, and I didn't realize at the time, but he had 2 hens with him, and he just strutted back and forth the whole time, just back and forth. And in the back of my head, I'm like, damn, if I just had a Reaper, or like showed him a fan or anything. And so I'm like, you know what? This like isn't the end of the world. Like, it's just super cool to even see him strutting on the side of this mountain. Like, even if we don't kill him, whatever. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, well, maybe these hens would just finally like work down the road a little closer or whatever. And I asked Matt even, because he kept asking me, he's like, whenever he shot his bird, like, he's like, you think they're close enough? And I was like, no, I don't. And then he was like, I'm going to shoot anyway until he shot. So I was asking him, I'm like, Matt, you think they're close enough? And he's like,
I'm like, absolutely not.
yeah, he's
on
like,
this one.
I hear him behind me, no, absolutely not. And
I'm like, they got to be 85 or 90 yards.
yeah,
Like,
I'm like, yeah, you're probably right.
I'm like, it was for him to say my bird was too far.
Yeah.
And then he's like thinking about it. I mean, they always look closer than they are.
Right.
You know,
Right.
sometimes, especially when they're in their open. I'm like, and the whole time I'm like, Landon, like, because he started going away. I'm like, Landon, get down in that ditch. You're gonna have to crawl up. Like, he's not coming to us.
No,
You know?
but like I could, like, you know, like there's this whole road, and we're sticking out dang near like a sore thumb on the side of the mountain, and I couldn't get to the other, like, cross the road and into off the side of the mountain to like try to dip off into him, because they were just strutting around there, and the hen would be looking at us, and then he would turn around and strut back down for like the whole time. Well, Connor done lost view of him, and he kind of starts like, I see him crawling down the road to us, and I'm like, I can still see him, you know. And then Matt couldn't see him, and then I could still see him, and he kept saying, he's like, you know, if you're probably gonna have to make a move on him. I'm like, yeah, I know, I can't move like this. I got my binos up. I'm like, this hen is literally looking right at us. Finally, they both basically
Turn around.
kind of
right?
turn around, and I can still see the back of his fan, but the hens go in the opposite direction, and I just bail out, like bail to the other side of the road, empty my bino harness of stuff, and I just start like crawling. I probably crawled a good 60 yards. I like peek up a little bit, can't see nothing. At this point, I don't even know if I scared him or not. I'm looking back at Matt, and then with my hands like,
Right, which I could kind of still see him, and I was like, you got to go.
yeah. I'm like, I'm looking at him like,
A little
what the-
farther.
yeah,
A
what the
little
hell?
Keep
He's
going,
like,
buddy.
keep going. So I like crawl some more, and then I go to peek up, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep like peeking up, because I'm afraid if I do any kind of movement that they're gonna like pick me off and it's gonna be over. Like, if I was gonna peek up, I was just gonna come up guns a-blazing and like ready to you know, throw some more lead. So I crawl a little farther, and I kind of peek up just a little bit, and I see his fan, and I'm like, oh, hell, he's still there. So then I really crawl some more, and I got to this point that was like, all right, I'm just going to pop up. I knew like I had to be within 50 yards of him. I'm like, I'm just going to pop up, shoulder my gun, and be just like,
And fucking steamroll.
yes, like ready to roll. Like, give him no chance at all. Pop up and be ready to shoot. Well, I didn't have my gun because I had Connor's bow that morning, and I asked him, like, should I bring my gun? He's like, oh, no, I got a gun on me. Well, he has this, like, I don't even know what it was. It had, like, this pistol grip and has this red dot.
It was a sweet gun.
Yeah, it had
Yeah.
a red dot on it. But it was kind of weird because the red dot, like, you know, you don't really shoulder it like a regular shotgun because you got to kind of look up to look through the red dot. Well, the red dot kept going, like, on and off. Like, you had to move it to, like, get it to come on. So, like, I don't know. I just, like, completely pop up, like, ready just to start shooting. I pop up, and I'm not shitting you, this bird's at, like, 25, 30 yards, just full strut walking away from me. And, like, never even sees me, just full strut.
Yeah,
and
you
I'm
like end up sitting on the ground.
yeah, I was
right?
like, holy shit, I am closer than I thought. And like, he's just, and I'm like on my knees and I'm breathing hard because I've been crawling, and the red dot's like doing all kinds of, it's like shooting your bow at a target at 60 yards. And
Yeah,
it
it's
does
fucking
little
all over the
fingers.
place,
So
yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, like I'm not stable at all. And this bird's just strutting 25 yards from me. So I honestly crawled out in like damn near the middle of the road, sat down on my butt, kicked my leg out, put the gun on my knee, and I just waited. And I was like, well, surely a hen or something's going to see me. I'm in the middle, like in the open. Like,
Right.
once they see me, he drops strut, like I'm going to shoot him. And then they just kept like going the opposite direction. Like none of them see me. I bet I sat there for like 2 minutes.
A while,
Yeah,
which
like-
I got it all on video.
Yeah, like I'm just chilling in this road, and the bird's full strut out in the road with me at 30, 35 yards at this point, and he's kind of strutting around.
So they are dumb as shit.
Yeah, they're like the smartest, dumbest birds.
Yeah.
You know?
And so, but the whole time he's just full fan walking away, and I'm like, I'm trying to think, damn, do I just body shoot him? And then I'm like, damn, should I just estimate like where his head is? Like, shoot like
Body
I'm like, the whole time
dead away.
Yeah, I'm
just
like-
blows his ass out.
Yeah. And then I'm like, maybe I'll just like shoot through the back of his fan. Like I know where his head's at. He's dead away from me.
Yeah.
Like it's dead in the middle. And I'm like, no, I don't want to, blow him all to pieces. So I'm just sitting there, and he turns a little bit, and then he turns back a little bit. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, maybe I'll just putt at him or anything. By that time, he turns ever so slightly, and I can just barely like see his head.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell with it, I'm shooting there. And I like shoot him with, of course, this is Connor's gun, and I just been beating it around, crawling with it and shit. I shoot him, and I think I completely body shot him anyway with that red dot. I like shoot
He starts
him,
hopping
and he
around.
starts hopping around in circles. Like, he starts hopping around in circles.
Yeah.
And I like take off running up there, and then I rolled him the second shot or whatever.
Right.
And so it was awesome after that. He was really
It was
pretty
sweet.
Merriam.
Yeah,
and
when
like,
Connor comes running down the mountain. We're
Yeah.
like, he got him. We're like, oh shit, oh fuck. We're like
he's
running up
running
there.
to me.
Yeah.
Like it was cool.
It was-
But then the going joke was Matt kept saying, he's like, all right, now let me see your gun. I get one shot at it.
Yeah,
on the
let me
ground.
shoot the
Just aims at the fan and fucking blows the fan.
Sorry, bud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, it's my turn to take some feathers off.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, no, I shot twice. I was like, I took some feathers off for you, which I really didn't. Like for body shooting him, like, to be honest, I have no clue where I hit him the first time because he just like bouncing around.
What kind of shell and chokes was he shooting?
He was shooting TSS. I don't know what choke he had on there, but he said it was
Oh,
deadly
really?
up to like 75.
Oh,
or
he told me
something.
he was like, because the whole time when I seen him the first time, he's like, could you not have shot him? I was like, I mean, I guess I could have. He's like, oh, my gun's good at 80 yards. And I'm like, he's like, you just got to aim high.
Yeah.
I was like, dude,
I was shot.
I don't
like,
know.
I don't know. I wouldn't. I think how we were.
I
set
believe
up-
it though. That dude's dialed. Like
Well,
from every.
I know,
I mean,
for him, well, like,
Yeah.
for him, but like for me, and I don't even know how I necessarily held this gun.
yeah. Could you have comfortably shot?
I don't know that I could,
Right.
especially with like a scope. Now, if it was a regular gun, just shoulder it with a regular thing, I think I'd have been fine. But
Yeah, and if he was closer to us and he was like saying like, "Yo, Landen, like that's close enough to shoot." I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't
shoot.
have my binos, my rangefinder. I didn't have anything on me, so we couldn't even get a.
yeah, and the last thing I wanted to do was shoot and miss and blow.
Yeah,
it. Like,
yeah,
oh,
especially
okay.
with him.
And we
There
were
it
set up
goes.
so perfect for what Landen did. Like we were going, like the road went up. There was a ditch on the right. I mean, it was executed like
Yeah,
perfect.
no, it did, but it was sick. I crawled all the
was
way
awesome.
up there, and
From going from not thinking we were going to get a bird or even see a strutter,
Yeah.
to,
Right.
to getting two. You know,
especially like
Right,
there was
right, right.
there was like no more adrenaline rush than when I poked up ready to just expect him. I mean, I wasn't gonna do no stupid shooting, but like popping up and thinking, okay, I'm gonna be within 40 or 50 yards.
Right.
And I was thinking like, no sooner I pop up, they're obviously gonna see me, and I'm gonna have to make the shot quick. And I pop up and there's
So,
just full strut 20.
Would you say overall, like, would you go back next year, or would you try and get a prairie tag?
I would apply for a prairie tag and I would go back every year. I
Really?
think. I mean, I almost want to work this into where it's
I'd
just
like to
part
be
of
able
the
to
turkey
go.
hunt.
I just got fucked with work this year and
Right.
couldn't go. But
I mean, if I still want to try to get, complete the slam, I would like to
Yeah.
book a trip to like Florida or whatever and then go out and kill maybe Kansas, Texas,
Honestly,
Oklahoma for a
the
Rio. But
experience out there, and you know how hunting trips are,
It's-
like whether we killed or not, like
it was
just
so much fun.
talking to the locals. We were in the bar here and there.
yeah, it's all part of that.
It was,
Yeah, it was
just
a great
awesome.
it was a great trip.
Right.
and the weather out there was nice for us.
That was the other thing. They have no humidity and just that like landscape too to hunt was awesome. But it does seem like it's getting more and more popular.
Yeah.
Like the Black Hills part. I mean, yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people understand, or from our perspective anyway, like up in the Black Hills where we were, like it's tougher than you think.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I'm sure.
We ran into a couple guys from Iowa, and nothing against them. They were going to do a little trout fishing stuff up there too, but they were very like, what would you say? That one guy had to be in his 80s.
Oh my god. Well, yeah, they were.
Oh,
I mean,
fucking
they were
80?
They were old.
Yeah,
I
my
kind
God.
of almost felt bad because
Yeah.
they were just kind of getting off the road and going in there, and they still could have shot a bird. I mean, at least they're getting out there and doing
Right,
it.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still doing the same thing when I'm their age, but I'm like, after we drove off, I'm like, man, it's gonna be real tough for them to get a bird.
Yeah, especially after
Yeah.
the stuff that we've
Real
been in.
tough,
And
like-
I'm like,
And they weren't. No birds are wanting to play. I mean, we just got. You got to get lucky. That's just turkey hunting.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
but from the experiences we had, and both of us killed on public ground.
Well, and the best part about it is it wasn't the last trip of the year.
No, we ended up. Well, I thought it was the last trip of the year.
It was for me.
It was for Matt.
Matt
But
hangs it up.
We
I hung it up too.
We had a damn good time. We told so many stories, laughed the whole time, which we drove straight through. And so, actually, after I killed this bird, we packed it up and had a head.
We packed
home.
up and got back home about 2 a.m.
Yeah.
At least I did, and then you got home probably later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all around, like, it was an awesome trip. But then I get home and I'm kind of like, I think that was the last, like, the highlight of turkey season. And Max still had a Kansas tag because he wasn't able to go when we went. And so I was he was back and forth asking me, and then Brady was telling me, like, yeah, someone needs to go to the Kansas with Max this weekend. And I was like, yeah, I'm good to go for one more weekend, whatever. And so I called Max on the phone and was like, what are we doing? Or I think you called me and you're like, what are you doing this weekend? I was like, I don't know. What are you doing? And you were like, I don't know. I don't have any plans. And I was like, are we going turkey hunting or what?
Did you get one?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, he ended up, we were like, we beat around the bush for so long because we were like, I don't know. Like, you want to go? I don't know. And the weather was like 92 degrees out there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wanted to go, and I wanted to go when I should have went with them. I had a wedding
Sure.
that weekend,
Yeah.
so I was kind of bummed about it, and I was like, well, piss. I still want to go, but it was May 18th,
Yeah.
and it's 90 degrees outside, and I was like, okay, now I really don't care to go anymore just for that reason.
That and as many people, like, as tough as luck as we had here this year, when me and Brady went to Kansas was tough. I mean, we made it happen, but and then also me and you in South Dakota, and I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, I know it's going to be tough, but I told him, like, I'm always down to go, like, if you want to go. So I think Friday comes around, and it's like, all right. And he's calling me, like, about getting off work, and I was like, yeah, I'll be off fairly early. And then it comes like 3 o'clock. I think I didn't end up getting home till like 4 or something. But then I called him. I was like, what do you think? And he's like, well, I'm not going to go if you're not going to go. And I'm like, well, I'm good to go. He's like, all right. And then we just kind of like, I didn't really get an answer. I was like, I don't know if we're going to. Ended up, we didn't leave till like, what?
Fucking 8 o'clock.
8
I'm serious.
Yeah. Max finally called me. I'm on the way to his house. He's like, dude, where in the hell are you?
I called him. I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Let's go.
I was like, well, I didn't know if you were actually going or what we're doing. So I just like packed my shit and we left. And we have no clue where we're really going. Like, I told him, I was like, we had a Unit 3 tag, which covered a very big area. But I wasn't for sure, like, where we were going. I was like, we'll just start, like,
Dude,
on the,
after looking at it too, I'm surprised we even got tags. They only gave 2,500 tags for all of Unit 3.
really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, we drew tags, but me and Max have no clue where we're going. We get out there pretty late, and I forget, we had no clue where we were even parking, like, gonna sleep at, you know? We pull up to this, like, town, and I was like, I don't know, I guess we could sleep here.
A brick road.
Yeah, like a brick road, little, like,
Junk ass town.
pretty much. It's like,
And this
"Oh,
is when you're still east.
yes.
like
I was
East
like,
Kansas.
I don't know. And so then Mac's like, no, let's just go down here and, like, park or whatever. And we found this, like, pull off kind of all public.
Right.
All right. Well, we go down there and pull off, and he's like, me and him are like, I don't even, like, there's no signs or nothing, so you can't park there, like,
Yeah.
you can't whatever. And we're like, I don't know, I guess we can just stay
Yeah, I
here.
mean, typically around here, like when you pull into the gravel, it says like no vehicles
Yeah.
past this point.
Yeah.
Hell, this one didn't say anything, and I was like,
No, you could have just kept driving down the road, and I'm like, dude, I don't know. We drove, like, it was weird, because it dropped off this big, steep
I
embankment.
mean, we went like I would say 70 yards in.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
it
didn't
wasn't
go
like
way
we
in.
drove in. We just pulled off the road
Yeah.
about 70 yards.
Yeah.
and then-
And then we were like, oh, I guess we're going to sleep here. Of course, it's like 12:30. Yeah, I guess. Lean the seat back and, like, trying to fall asleep. It's hotter than hell, you know.
Oh, fuck.
And
That's
I
the
think
worst. That's the worst.
I woke up, like, I don't even know how.
Hour, 30 minutes.
But
I
I
don't know
wait.
if I ever fell asleep.
No. I like dozed off, and then I wake up at one point. I'm like, damn, I'm cold. And I'm in my shorts and my like t-shirt. I like look over and Max has already got a t-shirt out, like trying to use it as a blanket. I'm like, damn. And then I'm thinking, damn, okay, I got to get some like hunt, or I got to get something out because I'm cold. And
Dude, Kansas gets so cold at night for some reason. It goes from like 90 degrees to like 40
Yeah,
in
I
like
think
1
it was
hour.
like 52 degrees then.
so I'm like trying to turn around in my seat, like digging in my bag, trying not to wake Max up. Of course, he probably wasn't even sleeping like he said in the first place. I'm being loud or whatever. Then Max wakes up, and I'm like, dude, I'm cold. And then I think you were like, yeah, I got to get more clothes too. And I was like, all right, cool. I ended up just getting out of the truck, putting my hunting clothes on or whatever. I don't even know if I went back to sleep after that. Like we couldn't have slept at all, really. So started getting light out. We got out of the truck, and hell, I don't know. We walked for, I don't know, how far do you think we walked?
Probably 30 miles.
30 miles.
It felt like it.
Something like that. Well, actually,
That's Kansas
actually,
for
we
you.
weren't even for sure if the fields were like all grown up or what. Like we had no clue.
It was another one of those things where someone's like, "Oh, check these spots out."
Someone told us.
These are decent areas, or
Right,
whatever,
right.
which I'm sure they were.
Early. 2 months ago.
Yeah, 2 months ago,
Yeah.
sure they were. And I'm still grateful he sent us, some pins that gave us a start for sure. And
But
you can go ahead and
we
keep
got
talking.
in the first field, and no sooner we got in there, I was like, damn, this looks good. It was freshly planted corn. The corn was probably, I don't know, 5-6 inches tall.
Yeah, I mean it honestly looked perfect. Like big bluffs, huge creek system with trees, beautiful crop fields.
No sooner than we got in it, I was like, damn, this looks good. Just didn't hear a gobble. So we kept walking, and the fields kind of connected to each other, so it wasn't like that bad of a walk.
Right.
But then to get to like the very far fields, you kind of had to go through some thick stuff and whatever. So me and Max decided to make the hike, and like we weren't even 50 yards in, and I was like, this sucks ass. Like,
Yeah, just fucking terrible.
oh, big ditches. The underbrush was so thick. I mean, it's chest high. You're trying to get through it, and I'm like, damn, this blows.
That's one thing that sucks about hunting late season.
And like the thickest stuff you ever seen. But me and Max make the trek to it. We finally get through this other field, and we'd seen some hen tracks and stuff, but we stopped again. No gobbles, nothing. So we kept walking. We finally get to this next field, and then we had to cross like a creek. And Max was like, damn, how many people you even think make it back here? Because we were way the hell back there. And we went to cross the creek, and there's like fresh boot tracks crossing the creek.
Yeah.
But there was also fresh turkey tracks crossing the creek, but no like tom tracks. They were all just hens and stuff. And we walked all the way like basically as far back to this place as you could go, and never heard or seen.
Walking or public?
No, public.
This was public.
Yeah. And you couldn't, I mean.
And we never heard a gobble in this. One midday, it was 6 in the morning.
Yeah, so it's like,
Yeah, if you ain't hearing
it,
gobble at 6 in the morning,
it makes you feel defeated as shit when it's like that.
That and we're so far back there, and I'm so like sleep deprived. I literally wanted just to lay over in the field and take a nap before we walked out of this place. And I was told Max, I was like, I don't know, this sucks. And Max goes, let's get the hell out of here before it gets too damn hot. And I was like, I think that's a good idea. So
That's a great idea.
that is a great idea. So we walked out of there, got all the way back to the truck, and we're both like dying. I'm like, yeah, let's just get in the truck. So we get in the truck, we drive like just right up the hill, and there's a hen, and like there was a few birds there. I don't know. There was one tom for sure, a hen, and the other one might have been another hen or a jake or something. And we're like, well, damn, at least there's turkeys around here. So we passed that, and then we were kind of just driving up the road because this public extended for a long way. We were just kind of driving up the road, just kind of seeing what we could
Can
see.
we turn you down?
And
Okay, you're good. All right.
there was a strutter in it. Well, Max seen it first. It was like, damn, there's a strutter right there. And I was like, really? And then we drove like past this little wood block, and he's like, yeah, right there. And I was like, oh yeah, sure shit. So I get on Onyx, and like, it was a private field, but all the woods around it was public. And I'm like, I was telling Max, I was like, damn, we could get around, like around him right here. That was probably the worst idea I had all weekend, because we'd park the truck, get out,
another 30 miles.
another 30-mile trek, in the nastiest stuff you've ever seen.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was awful. So nastiest stuff you've seen. We walked for however long, and like on Onyx, it didn't look like it was that far. I should have like pinned how far it was.
30 miles.
It was,
It's terrible.
yeah, it was terrible. So we get all the way back.
Tragedy.
And it was one of those things too, where not only was it terrible, but like we were excited, like we finally found a
Yeah.
strutting in the field.
Yes.
And so the shit we were walking through was, mid chest high, and a lot of it was briars and thorns.
Nasty shit.
But we were in
Yeah.
such a hurry, you didn't pay attention to it. You just ripped right through it, and then, getting back out of there, we were like, "Oh, that was
Yeah.
absolutely not
We're-
worth it at all."
Yeah, itchweed.
Yeah, that's your basic
weed.
turkey hunting tragedy.
All bloody from
Yeah,
thorns.
itchweed. My legs are itching. But we make it all the way back, and this bird actually gobbled though. But when he gobbled, he was no longer in the field. He was like, obviously way somewhere else. I was like, all right, Max was, you think that was that bird? Or I might have said that, or he said that, and I was like,
Oh, I didn't think it was because it was so far.
yeah, that's
that,
right.
I was looking. I was like, well, the field was up here. That bird just got
Right.
way over here. I mean, I was like, unless he covered that much ground that quick. But looking back on it, I'm sure it was. It was
Yeah.
8 o'clock in the morning. And when we passed him in the field, I was watching him. Obviously couldn't hear it, but I could see him
Gobble.
gobble.
Yeah.
So I know that bird was gobbling.
No,
So I'm
right.
sure it was the same bird, and he done.
He was just on a mission.
Well,
to
them
go
birds out there
somewhere.
move so far.
He had done worked on, and whenever we heard him gobble, however far away, we should have just turned around.
So
After
by
we-
now you're to the point where it's like you're fucking going somewhere else,
It's 9 o'clock and 95 degrees.
and you're driving back. You
and we
just
walked
drive back
60
home.
miles already for the morning. So we hike out of this place, terrible, sweating, nasty. So we get out of there and we're like, all right, I told Max, I was like, we're not doing that again. Like, this is the second time we literally hiked in the nastiest stuff in Kansas. And I'm like, we're not doing that again. So we get in the truck and we're driving around, and I think the only thing we had to eat was, or we had Capri Suns with us and pork rinds. So that's like the only thing we
Pork
had.
rinds. Capri Suns. Where the fuck did you get Capri Suns at?
Out of my mom's little mini fridge. She keeps them.
What
there.
flavor?
I don't remember.
I think I had a grape one.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember, but she keeps them there for nieces.
the kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the kids.
So that's kind of all we had. But I was like, damn, I don't know what to do. So
No,
Max,
we had. I think I brought 14 waters, and I think they were gone.
oh yeah,
By
no, we were. That's true. We
What
were
you
out
really
of-
needed was a pink monster.
No, we had a few
I
of
had
those.
one of those.
You did? Oh,
Yeah, the drive out there. Well, yeah, we left town at 8:30 at night.
How far of a drive was it out there?
The first place we went wasn't very far.
probably 4 hours.
No, actually, I take that back because we didn't make it past Roachport, and the road.
Oh,
The
I
bridge
was gonna say,
traffic was-
Landon sent me a video.
yeah.
Yeah, we,
Mac-
I said,
5 mile an hour.
yeah, we drove through on the highway at
Yeah.
5 mile an hour for.
Well, we messed up because we didn't like put it in our phones. Like we just knew where we were. Like, oh, we're headed
Yeah.
that direction. Well, if we'd have put it in our phones, it would have said like
Yeah, go
traffic.
the fuck around. Yeah.
So me and Max waited in this traffic forever, and we're like, this is terrible. I think we waited because then I plugged in my phone, and it was like a 35-minute wait. So we waited and waited, and by the time we made it through, you should have seen the line behind us.
It was terrible.
Oh,
Terrible.
fuck, I bet.
So we make it through, whatever. So that did delay us some, but after all that, whatever, we were driving around, and so Max had gotten more pins from his cousin that were like farther west. It's like, let's just head out there and like drive around. Like we had nothing else to do, but we were just gonna drive around all day. Trying
Yeah,
to
so you ended up out pretty well where we killed our birds,
Oh
correct?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, we did, but we stopped just before that, and had a bunch of pins. Max's cousin sent him, and he hadn't been out there in several years, but when he was like, "Yeah, it's good out here."
Yeah.
And a
And
ton of ground.
That seems to be the highest population of birds around
Kinda,
that area,
yeah.
kind of.
But we drove around all day, and of course, keep in mind it's 92 degrees out, so I'm like, I'm not really getting out of the truck. But see, out there where we got, it's a little more open, and the weeds weren't as tall, and I'm like, all right, this just looks better.
More grass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just looks better. We drove around for hours, and we never
I
seen
never shut the truck off all day.
we never seen a bird either though.
Oh, fuck.
No, but it definitely looked. Well, I mean, we didn't see a bird, but,
But-
it's
Yeah,
noon, 95 degrees.
yeah.
Yeah.
May.
Good luck.
May 18th.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo. So we were just more or less.
We were just driving around having fun. I mean,
trying
it
to
was
find something
good
that
time.
looks
We were just driving around, and it was about probably 3:00. I mean, we'd been driving around all day, and I was like, Max, let's just head as west as we can get, because out like as west as we could get where me and you were. I
Yeah.
was like, let's just drive as west as we can get. And he's like, well, how far are we talking? 4 hours? I was like, no, not that far, but like,
No,
30 miles?
I asked him. I was like, well, I don't care. I mean, that's all we've done all day is drive. I
Drive,
said,
yeah.
how much farther are you talking? He's like, oh, probably 30 minutes. I said, I've been driving for 5 hours. I care about
30 minutes, yeah. So we went like 30 minutes to the side of us there, and it was still just, I was telling them, I was like, damn, it's midday, like, just don't know what to do. And we stopped on the road that me and you were on, and there were some bird tracks in the road, and I was like, well, I
We
know
drove
that-
by every piece of walk-in.
So you drove? Did you drive by where I shot that bird?
Yeah. Yeah,
Really?
we stopped in the road there.
It's a cool little
Yeah.
farm there. Yeah.
So we
I rolled
checked
my window down and was looking at all the tracks.
tracks.
oh yeah.
So we were checking it out, and then we were kind of checking this thing out too. This guy was like spraying. I thought he was spraying crop, but it ended up being, he was spraying a fescue field.
Yeah,
or something.
spraying a hayfield. I guess.
And he had a, and I mean, we're talking hell force winds, and this guy's flying his.
Little crop sprayer.
Yeah, crop
crop duster.
He was going up, and he would come down like as low to the road as we can get. And me and Max were just kind of watching him. Like it was kind of cool. Like he would turn that thing completely sideways,
Oh
like
yeah.
dip down, and I
Fuck,
bet
they
he,
fly them under power lines.
Yeah, this was cool because he was cutting it close. Like he was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I bet he wasn't flying 2 feet off the ground. Like
Yeah.
just
No, they don't.
Come around.
Obviously, I've seen it before, but when I saw him out there, I just had to watch because it's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's the only form of life I've seen.
yeah.
8 hours.
It's desolate out there. It is.
Yeah, we were just kind of checking it out, messing around. But so we were driving down the road, and we weren't really expecting like to see a whole lot. We were just trying to scout a better area to start off, like start the night off or start in the morning,
Right.
you know. And we were driving down this road and happened to find a longbeard. Well, me and Max were talking like, damn, you think they're all just in the woods? Like, because there was like thick woods and there was like this open field. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, maybe they are in that thick woods. And they're just out in the middle of this field. There's this longbeard.
Yeah, just one by himself. I was like, well, wow, there's a turkey right there, you know,
Yeah.
and which I didn't even know it was walk-in at the time, but we were driving to look at a piece of walk-in. 'Cause
Yeah.
all the ground looks the same.
You're right.
So I was like, well, let's see where we're at. And I was like, oh, that's walk-in. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
where we're headed. And so we drove past him, turned around. Well, we kind of turned around when I was like, oh, no, that's actually walk-in. That's where we're headed. Turned back around, went by him again, saw the direction he was going, made a plan. We went around the corner, and I was going to get out there. And I was like, I just don't think this looks right. Like, it's all flat. I can
Right.
get in this ditch, but if I'm not in this ditch, he's going to see me.
Right.
I was like, I hate to do this, but let's go by him one more time, just see what happens, or see what he's doing.
Yeah.
If he might just still be standing in the same spot. Drove by him the third time, and there was 3 longbeards and
Like 12 other turkeys.
like I thought they were hens. I was like, damn, there's 3 longbeards and 12 hens.
I couldn't even tell you where they come from because
They just stood up out of the grass.
yeah, like had to.
Oh
like
yeah.
just a
they
peep.
they just do out there. It's weird.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And thank God we did because they were all headed the
opposite
opposite direction.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, whatever. We headed that way. So got to the end of the road or whatever, got out of the truck. And it was going to work out perfect. I went up over the hill with the Reaper, and I was like, well, I'm not going any further. They're coming this way. And sure enough, I just seen one coming. Got down, head all turned red, and just started marching right in. I was like, all right, this is simple enough. Sure enough, I can just hear all the cows coming. And anyways, they kind of surrounded me. I don't even know where they came from.
They were like 2 feet from us, like gonna step on you. Like,
And you're just behind Ross.
yes.
Yeah.
And we're like, they're all like kind of cradled around us and like just like a C, and they're just looking at us.
I don't even
Like
know if they
2
were.
yards.
I don't even think they were supposed to be there.
Yeah, probably just got out or
think
some
they
shit.
got
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I really don't know, but
I
anyway,
think they got out.
I was say I've never seen cows on walk-in.
That's what I'm saying. I think they got
Yeah.
out.
I don't know where the hell they even come from either.
Well, you know how Western Kansas is.
Oh, there's
I
not
mean,
fences
fuck,
anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they weren't in the road.
yeah.
Right.
Every time I'm out there, I damn near hit a cow.
So
Every time.
apparently somehow these cows got in there, and I'm reaping, and then the turkey's coming in. He just stops, sticks there with his head up, and I'm like, well, obviously I have a huge herd of cows like making a circle around me, and I'm worried they're gonna start stepping on my feet and shit behind me. So I had my phone out for whatever reason, and I laid it on the ground right before all these cows got around us. I was like, all right, well, I need to make a move. All these cows. Go at the turkey, left my phone on the ground, didn't think shit about it. The cows move just as fast as I do. We're just a huge herd of cows and one strutting decoy walking. So anyways, this bird's, he's, you know how it works. Like he wasn't scared. But,
Yeah, he's like, oh, what the fuck?
you know,
yeah.
he just
wasn't
kept,
coming any closer.
he kept like that 100-yard distance.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, piss on it. I'm gonna just try to move as fast as I can. Didn't work out. Got up. Couldn't find my phone for the life of me. I was like, oh my God. Ended up finding it. And we were talking. I was like, that was kind of weird. We just seen the one when we just saw.
But Max finds his phone. It's like covered in cow slime.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that
was
the other
it?
thing.
Yeah.
They'd like picked
I
my
bet.
phone
They either
up.
picked it up or licked the hell out of it. Like it was just one big ball of slime.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess saw it and picked it
Yep.
up.
Yep.
Anyways, picked up my slime ball phone. And
Cal's trying to dial 911.
anyways, I was like, well, we were talking about. I was like, well, that's kind of weird. We did see the 3 longbeards and all them other turkeys. We just saw the one. I was like, they got to be somewhere.
The podcast is brought to you by HLRBO. As hunters, we are always looking for new places to find mature bucks. You can find leases all across the U.S. and Canada. The best part is it's 100% free to sign up. Get started and find your next property today.
So I was like, I'm just going to peek over this hill, see if they're out there. I didn't make it like 20 yards and just walking at this point, and I just see 2 red heads sticking up in the grass. I was like, oh, fuck, hit the deck. Surely I scared them. There's no way I didn't. Well, I was like, I'll just cut him a call anyway, see what happens if it kind of calms it down. Called, all sorts of them gobble. I was like, oh, here we go. Well, then I see, I crawled up with the decoy to where I could see him, and about that time I see, like, I'm not kidding, like 12 heads just running through the grass.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's probably that group of hens. I thought they were hens we saw earlier, and I was like, I did spook them. They're running away. No, they were running right at me, and all their heads were red, and I was like, holy shit, here we go. I didn't even have time. I barely got to my knees, had the Reaper in one hand. Landon didn't give me a stake to it, so there was like, if I was going to set it down, it was...
Yeah, you're throwing it down and
It just
shooting.
falls
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
and I had my shotgun in one hand, and I swear to God, I don't even know how I got it up on my shoulder, and I'm one arm in it. I'm like, this ain't gonna work, and I could just see all these heads coming through the grass, and they, reaping as they got to like 10 yards, and I was like, well, that's a Jake. I'm like, no shit, no wonder there's 12 of them coming in. It's
Yeah.
a big group of Jakes. And about that time, one spins like right in front of me, like literally us away this distance, and I could just see his big old beard, and I only had one hand on the gun, and I was like, and they're all, their heads are bobbing and weaving. I was like, I'm gonna miss this son of a bitch if I try to shoot him with one hand. So he was at, 2 yards. I just shot him straight in the body, just.
Yeah.
And,
Got him.
yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Simple enough.
And I mean, it was one of the biggest Rios that I've seen. It was
Really?
a pretty bird.
Really?
Had a,
Yeah, it looked like I'll say, as far as Rios goes, a beautiful
had a
bird.
rope on it, big spurs.
Wow. That's a good story.
I mean, yeah. It's just.
Well,
like,
for the time of year it was and how everything worked out, I mean, you couldn't ask for any better of a.
Yeah, they
you
were
know.
gobbling and stuff too. And
yeah, and it was just like we were saying earlier. Turkey season can go from the lowest of lows.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
This
yeah.
sucks. We were
Story.
driving around all day in 95-degree weather
Yeah.
to, oh, there's a turkey, jump out of the truck. Just heard 12 turkeys gobble and had 10 of them come run into me and shoot one at 2 yards in the truck going home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah.
it happened.
I have to believe a lot of success in turkey hunting is the amount of time, like that you spend either looking for one, getting permission on one, or like even out in camp, just driving around and finding them. Like, had you just said, "Oh fuck it, we're just gonna set up on a public and just sit there and wait the rest of the day," you guys wouldn't have done with it. It would have been dog shit.
Probably not. I mean, everyone has their different ways of hunting. And honestly, after he killed that bird, we were wanting to take some good pictures, but obviously we were battling cows, so we just went down the road to like a different piece right up the road there.
Right.
Got out, and we were just gonna take some pictures there. Just there was obviously no cows on it, and it was also like the sun was way up, so we found some like a creek with like some trees and stuff.
Right.
We went to take pictures there, and I like looked at Max and was like, "Did you shoot that?" And he was like, "I don't know," and I'm like, "I might be crazy, but I swear I heard a turkey." And we sat there for just a minute, and this bird literally hammered the rest of the night.
Yeah. I mean,
And we were like, "Damn, that's
Yeah, you got to get him on the right day. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like you can one
Of
day.
course, it could have just been a Jake over there
Right.
hammering too. I mean, when we left, we seen them. There were 4 of them out there. So, and I only heard 1 goblin. Could have been a longbeard and 3 Jakes, but it was cool anyway. We just had them birds gobbling, but we took some cool pictures, and it was a fun trip.
Yeah, it was a fun trip. A lot of windshield.
But then it was another one of those things. It was like we're leaving out there at like 8 o'clock, and now we're far,
Oh, yeah, you're out there.
and so it's like.
Well, we were at the lake whenever you guys called because Nick, I remember I told Nick, I'm like, oh, damn. I said, Max just shot a bird. And then you guys just drove all the way back through the night.
Yeah, we were like, damn, should we get a hotel? Because we were both tired, man. We hadn't even slept. We tried to sleep in the truck, but you know how that goes. And I was telling Max, I said, by time we get a hotel, we're going to probably sit in the hotel and we're going to be all amped up, probably have a few beers. And I was like, we won't go to bed till midnight anyway. We were like, yeah, let's just drive home. Dude, I've never been so tired from like the South Dakota trip.
Dude, I
like,
was tired after that trip.
I
was
didn't even
a
get to really
zombie.
catch up on sleep. We go out to Kansas. I felt bad because I hate when like someone's sleeping in the truck and like I'm tired too. You know,
Kind of
It's
like our trip.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, it was the same for you.
I was driving. Yeah.
I drove-
Lane's over there. I'm like, God, man, that looks good. He's time traveling right now. Before too long, he's going to be 2 hours down the road. I'm like, hey, dude. He's like nodding off the way home. Like, we got to play 20 questions. He's like, teach me. I'm like, okay. All right. You ready?
Yeah, but to be fair,
I didn't even have that chance with him. I just looked up.
Yeah, right. Yep.
I was.
Well, at one point, I'm like, dude, we got to. Like, I got to make it this last leg. I'm like, think of someone.
But to be fair, Matt went to bed. I called him and was like, I hope you. We planned to meet at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I hope you went to bed earlier than I did. It's like, oh, I went to bed at 9 o'clock. I was like, I went to bed like an hour ago.
Yeah.
It's like I got home from work late, packed all my stuff, showered, tried to clean a bunch of stuff up, and like I shouldn't even went to bed. So I was.
Oh, dude,
also
driving
wanna-
through the
yeah,
night's
from-
rough.
I want to throw this out here too. So playing this like 20 question game, I found out Landen does not know who Dr. Phil is.
Really?
Do you know who Dr. Phil is?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
You? Well,
Yeah, the
I
dude
mean,
with the
just a fun
mustache.
fact.
He's
Yeah.
like what? He's like
It looks like Matt with white hair.
no.
Well,
He's
he's kind of bald, you know. It's like being probably like.
what's the guy?
that the
The
same
Family Feud guy.
Oh, that's
Steve
Harvey.
Harvey.
He's like white Steve Harvey.
right,
Yes.
right.
Okay, to be fair, like
That's literally what he is. He's white Steve
I've
Harvey.
heard of him, but
I'm like, you know this guy.
in no way in 20 questions was I going to guess Dr. Phil. Like, I keep asking him questions. He's like, oh, you definitely know this guy. Like, you got to know this guy. And I'm like, all right, the last person on my mind is Dr. Phil. Yeah, he was like, he's bald. He has facial
Right.
hair. I'm like,
I was even getting him clues, man.
Joe
Like,
Biden.
I'm like,
Right.
Remember the
can he walk
that
upstairs
one
or
girl
stay steady on a
online
bike?
that always said, she was always like, "Catch me outside." How about
Yeah,
that?
Yeah,
didn't I
yes,
say that?
yeah.
I was like, you don't remember Catch Me Outside? How about that? He was like, huh? I'm like, never mind, man. Sorry, I picked a hard one. Thought it was easy.
Yeah, dude, driving through the
I would have got that one.
Yeah.
I like driving through the night because it almost gives you like an extra day or extra half day a lot of times. But God, it's rough. I've driven off I-70 like 8 times. I swear to God.
The first time we ever went to Kansas, Brady decided to drive the whole way. And I'm wide awake. And usually, like, I can stay up a long time, but sleep's just, I haven't gotten much lately. And, like, it was just catching up with me. And I was just, like, I was falling asleep. I was battling my eyelids bad.
Oh
But
no, shit! I
go
fall
to
asleep.
Kansas.
I fall asleep driving very easily.
The first time we go to Kansas ever.
I swear to God, I do. I'm not scared to admit it. The first time we were going to Kansas, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. We were driving
No,
through the
we didn't
night.
leave town till 8 o'clock like usual. And we were in no hurry, like, oh, we're hunting in the morning, blah, blah. We're having a good time. Get out there. Reese is with us. Have no clue. We're going turkey hunting in the morning. Hit a snowstorm on our way to Kansas, like out of nowhere. It's 70 at home. And, you know, we're like, oh, Kansas got to be the same. Hit a snowstorm. And pass it, get like out there. And I'm just wide awake looking at the road. Brady's driving, looking at the road. And about that time, like, we hit the rumble strip. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Next thing you know, we're like going down in the median. And I'm like, holy shit. I like turn over to him. I'm like, Brady. He's like just cruising through the median. I'm like, pull the truck over, like, get out, you're done driving.
It was, dude. If there was someone next to us, I would have killed them. It was so bad. Like, not that I've driven like off the road in the median that many times, but like
I said,
Rumble strips.
yeah,
I was
no,
like-
yeah.
like Floyd. I'm like, get out, you're done driving. So then I put Reese in charge. Reese is in the backseat, like, oh, I've been sleeping, I'm good. Put Reese in charge. I'm like, okay. I'm still sitting there. It might have been a worse option because we hit a gravel road, and I bet he's doing like 80 in the truck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy hell. Like, we don't know this road at all. He's doing 80, just flies off the blacktop onto this gravel, and I'm like looking at my maps like there's a big turn coming up. I'm like, Reese, slow this thing down. Like,
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, I don't know why. I fall asleep easily driving. Like it could be from here to like Kansas City or St. Louis, like 2-hour drive, and I'll get to where I'm like
I can
fucking nodding my head and I'm like, holy shit.
I can kind of doze off,
fuck.
but I mean, I never hit the median or really the rumble strips. I just kind of catch myself like, okay, I'm tired. I either need to call someone, like call and talk to
Right,
someone or
right.
something. But I never like make it into the median.
It's not bad anymore that like I'm a little older, but fuck, we took that trip when we were what, 18.
No, we weren't even that. We were
Yeah, 16.
yeah.
I would say we
You go for it more when you're younger. As
Yeah.
I've gotten older, there's nothing wrong with being. I'm like, nope, I'm gonna get a hotel. Screw it, split this drive up. But
Yeah.
you guys will learn.
It wasn't that young.
We were just out of high school.
No, we were seniors in high school. We had to be
It
18.
was 2020 because it was the year of COVID. Because
Oh, yeah, because they shut non-resident tags off.
yeah,
That
For
is
whatever
right.
reason,
I
I
didn't
felt
get-
like we were just like we graduated high school and went.
I 100% know it was the year of COVID because you all got your tags like 2 days before I did.
Yeah, and they shut it off.
They shut me down.
Yeah.
And so that's why I didn't get a tag
Yeah,
that year.
that is right.
You are right. Maybe it was longer than I thought.
And that's why you all and whatever I didn't go that year.
Oh yeah, that's when we went out there and we were filling up gas out there for like 87 cents.
Yeah, that's when it was cheap. Yeah, we went in. I don't even remember
That was
what
Trump
town.
time.
Yeah, we
Trump
were
time.
back in the Trump era.
Yeah, and now let me explain the Biden era. Me and Matt were in South Dakota and filled up for $5.99.
Oh well, shit. Yeah, I go over there. There's one little gas pump.
Yeah.
Like, I was telling Lane I'm gonna go over there. He was like napping or whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna go fill up. Yeah. So
Imagine that.
I go over there and my dumb ass is looking at this pump, which is one of those old school ones, where
Yeah.
you click it, takes a little bit to like go on, and I thought I saw 397 or 392 or something. I was like, that's a little high, but whatever. I fill it up, and I was only probably like half a tank. I don't even know, maybe a quarter away, or no, I was probably 3/4 away down, and it was like $80, and I was like, what the hell did I see? And it was $6 a gallon. I saw in like small writing. I'm like, God damn, what the hell did I break, man?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's how. I think it was the year me and him went out there bow hunting, whatever year that was, and when we drove through Natoma over there, it was like 80. That little town was like 87 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
Because Grandpa kept telling us, he's like, oh, watch it on the way out there. Like, let me know what gas prices are, because he loves to know what fucking gas prices are everywhere.
Right.
So we got out there and sent him a picture, and yeah, it was 87 cents a gallon. He was
crazy.
like, he was like, oh, I ain't seen that since
That's
I was, yeah,
Back in the day.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's
in the
way
day.
back in the day. Yeah.
yeah, it was crazy. I
No.
wish it was that now.
Yeah, so do I. I would take a lot more hunting trips if it was like that.
Or just go with me.
Yeah, I could just go with you.
Yeah, imagine if you could fill our truck up for like $40.
I was gonna say even $80 at one time. Like the most I've ever put in my truck at one time is $300.
Yeah.
That's including Duff?
No, like just gas.
Yeah,
But
that's
I mean,
fucking
I had
crazy.
I had it run down to like fumes. Like I that might have been the time we were going up north, and
Is that still?
I run it
recording?
like
It is.
I run my truck down to literally 0 miles left on the thing, and I still drove another 10 miles, and then I filled it up. But it took $300 to fill it up.
And the reason I say go with me was not because it's because these guys are my customers. So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
we get to do some customer
We
trips
ta- we
and
take-
stuff, which
we
is
take-
Well, yeah, when
business.
you buy fucking
yeah.
thousands of dollars of shit a year, you deserve a trip.
and hopefully more.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep,
We take business trips, and we
Yeah.
talk business the whole time.
we do. Yep.
We got
That's what we tell everyone.
one thing I wanted to do this year that we didn't get to do. I wanted to go turkey hunt with Joe.
Oh, so he's down for next year too to go out there.
Yeah.
I hunted with him one day. I had the best in Missouri, the best worst turkey season of my life. You know, I went with a bunch of different people. It was awesome. We got on some new hunters on birds that shot and missed. You know, but I went with Joe.
Yeah.
Man, it was freaking fun. I mean, to find guys that take turkey hunting like as seriously as like I do, and then when you hunt with people, I always say like, I've hunted with guys where you don't match up totally, and I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong or what I'm doing is wrong.
Just
but
different styles.
You think differently, different styles, and me and Joe were like right on. We actually called a bird in. I could have shot it. He was running away, and I don't know why I didn't pull the trigger, and I should have. I just hesitated, but man, he's fun, and he's just a good dude. I mean, he's just a country bumpkin.
Joe,
I kind of say,
Joe,
you know,
Joe's cool.
Yeah,
So
but-
I wish we could have got on. I want to have Joe on here sometime, just because I feel like he could tell some.
Oh, he's got some stories.
Yeah, so he's got some funny stories, I'm
yeah.
sure, and he's a hoot to be around. So
Joe is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we should, and I do think going to the that convention next year.
Yeah, we'll have to
know,
go.
try to plan that.
yeah, I say we do. I know. I'll have to text Macy and see. I'm sure. I know that hotel's booked out for like 8 years, but we'll have to get on, see when it is, get on and see if we can't book us a Airbnb close
even
by or
something
something.
Where is that? Is that in Nashville?
Nashville. Yeah. Yep. Good old Nashville. So it'd be a fun trip with Joe.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a good time. He did quit drinking, so he's not as fun. Sorry, Joe, if you're listening, but no, he's a good time.
He can be the DD.
Yeah, no, he will be. He's proud of it too. Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, I'll say good. That's good.
He did kill both his birds this year, though, didn't he?
He did. Yep.
He did?
Yep.
Haven't he? So
He struggled though too. I mean, a lot of guys I talked to in Missouri struggled this year.
Yeah, that's just the going time.
the funniest thing is, I don't know if you weren't there, so Dad wouldn't have told you. On the way to the lake this weekend, you know the little bait shop you pass on the left there?
Oh, Dad told me yesterday when we went by it.
Oh yeah, we were all there. That's Joe's in-laws, where they got the little deer feeder in the front yard. And there's always a deer there. Yeah, that's Joe's in-laws.
It is. Yeah, that is. Yeah, yeah. Joe's got some stories maybe that shouldn't be said on the podcast, and some that can be.
He's a hoot, though.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to next year. It's gonna be
Yeah,
gonna be fun.
I'm saying that pretty well wraps up our turkey season. I mean, it's been.
Yeah, that was the last birds.
I know we've said it on the last 10 episodes, but it's been the weird. We always manage to chip our birds off somewhere, but it's been the weirdest year. Like I didn't even kill a longbeard here in Missouri this year, but
I think the biggest thing though that even I take away from this year, even whenever the times sucked, just staying after it. I mean, things change so fast.
Yeah.
Like me and Max used to have been like, yeah, this sucks, so we're going home, or we could have been like, yeah, instead of driving around, spending our day, whatever, we could have just went and got a hotel, sat in it, and did nothing or whatever.
I mean, realistically, I hate to say it to take away from the bird or whatever, but the hunts, I mean, it did suck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, it was not
Yeah.
all that enjoyable, but
Right.
I mean, we went out there to kill a turkey, and
Yeah.
so
Right.
we were going to do all it took, but I wouldn't say it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not the most.
I hate to say it like that, but it wasn't.
Oh
all
yeah.
that
You got it done, but it wasn't the most. Yeah.
No, the birds.
There was 10 minutes of the whole trip that was enjoyable. That was it.
But it just wasn't great like it was all year.
Yeah.
Here. Just wasn't. But
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of
every day.
Jakes, and hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully next year's have better weather, and hopefully next year's on fire. But
I got high hopes for next year. I mean, the rain's kind of as much rain as we get, and I feel for the hens sitting on nests in this rain. But
yeah,
we'll
everyone
see.
needs
Hopefully,
to get out there, take care of the coyotes, coons, possums.
hopefully we have a good hatch, and hopefully next year's. I know one thing we need to do next year, as far as like getting on turkeys more, is property. I feel like we. Like, even after, the second day of season, we were just kind of like, oh, ran out of places to hunt. Like, fuck, now what?
Well, not necessarily ran out of places to hunt, but it was just one of our places, some dude trespassed, tried to shoot our decoy. That makes me want to go back in there.
One of my spots, 7 birds got killed next to it.
I was saying.
One of Spencer's spots got.
And it still had a bird or
up.
two on it, but what's the point of shooting them whenever the neighbors just shot 7 of them? And nothing against them. I mean, they had probably 15 of them there. So, I mean,
They got blown up.
it was what it was. But
Then your other place, someone else was also hunting it.
One of our spots, we've shot a bird or 3 there opening morning for however many years and didn't even hear one.
Yeah, didn't even hear a bird. It was just weird. It was just odd.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, even the farm that me and Lane have hunted for the last 15 years, it just dog shit. I mean, we went twice and never heard a bird on 1,200 acres.
Yeah, it was wild.
I wouldn't say I had a bad season. I had a very just fine season, but it was weird in terms of my spots I know were lights out were
terrible.
They were
Yes.
shit.
Yeah, we
was
said that the
scratching
whole
my
time. It was
They're not where they usually are.
no, the people who usually don't kill shit were killing them in weird places, and the people who every single year it's like, yeah, there's 2 or 3 birds here. There wasn't anything. Like,
I mean,
it was just fucking weird.
I don't want to be the guy that says that season was shit because I killed 5 birds this year. But the thing was,
Bitch.
I mean,
Shout out
Nice.
to Brady for staying home.
Yeah.
but
You
doing
want to
the
pat
work.
your back here? Hold on.
yeah.
Let me get-
No, I mean, I hunted 4 states, killed 5 birds, but the biggest thing I guess from it was it just wasn't like it normally was. Like it wasn't a lot of hunting where you sit there, you're calling in birds, working several birds. Like I was super lucky to kill damn near every bird that I killed. Just
out
like
of
South
out of
Dakota.
all the days, I mean, I didn't hunt a whole lot of days this year. I probably hunted 10 or 12. Well, probably hunted 10 or 12 days all season, which
I killed-
across a couple states. But I only had 1 bird, and that was with Adam that we called into a decoy.
Yeah, that's exactly
That's it.
why.
Landen's bird.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Well-
Actually, Adam's bird we really didn't even call into a decoy. It kind of seen the reaper and just came in. So, I mean, Landon's bird was probably the only bird that we actually
Killed on-
killed over a decoy
That was
all year.
That was the only bird out of the 5 that I'd killed over decoy to. The rest of them, like South Dakota, was either like I'm gonna have to make a move now or never, and I end up somehow crawling up to them and pulling something out of my back pocket to kill one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wish going into this year we talked about we should have anywhere between 5 and 8 turkey videos to post of birds we've killed, and we literally couldn't call birds into decoys this year.
No,
and
but
so
it was weird because youth season though, which I think it just happened so early. Because hell, we were finding royal mushrooms in March.
Yeah.
We would typically never find them until April.
Yeah,
we were
so-
already finding them in March, and it was 80, 85 in March.
yeah, I mean, we just had every single hunt was just like a stupid.
I think it just happened early, and
I guess I can't say stupid, but it was just weird. Like it was just.
I mean, youth season was
It was weird scenarios that we've never been in before. That was just like, oh yeah, birds are here, and it's like what, just weird shit. And I mean, we made the most of it. I feel like. I mean, everyone tagged out here, but me this year.
In Missouri?
Yeah, and Allan.
and
But Allan, as a non-resident, killed the bird. So I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
Well, that and I mean, to be fair, I mean, you didn't hunt a whole lot.
No,
as
I didn't hunt
normal.
many
I
days.
mean, Allan's non-resident, so the time that he was here, he killed a long beard,
Right.
and
well, everything kind of landed weird this
we had
year.
some,
Even
we had
the
some
work,
shitty weather in season 2.
the workload this year,
Rain
like
and
usually we can kind of
hot.
schedule shit to where it's like most of our work can come like before or after turkey season, and like it was just Dad had knee surgery and it just got to where
the second day of turkey season.
yeah
out of
so
all.
Right.
we just got completely fucked in season. We had like 4 jobs that were waiting on us that couldn't do anything. They've been waiting on us for a month, so it was like shit had to be done. So I mean, it just kind of was what it was, but we still managed to do as best as we can. I know. I mean, even Spencer, you killed one on your lunch break. So
Really?
No, I
yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
I called Brady. I said, "Hey, where are you at?" Oh,
I was literally like 2 miles from you too.
Yeah. He's like, "If you'd have called me 20 minutes earlier," I'm like, "Dude, I didn't know the bird was here 20 minutes ago."
Yeah. So he killed one on his lunch break, and then, well, you damn near killed one on your lunch break another time too. So I mean, it was just with the all day hunting this year, it's just weird, and I don't know. It was what it was, but just a weird turkey season
It was an
overall.
odd season, but I mean, I'm really looking forward to deer season at this point. I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is finally the last turkey episode of this year. I know a lot of podcasts and a lot of people have already switched over to deer stuff, but we just had to get one more in and kind of finish up, round out the year with
We
this.
ended turkey season on a bang though. Especially I was Max was talking about going to Kansas. I'm like, Max, we better kill one out there because after the South Dakota trip, like I don't want to end it on some shitty hunt.
Well, I'm glad to say it worked out the way it did, and I know one thing: I'll never hunt turkeys again in 95-degree weather.
Right. No,
well,
At least
I
they're
say,
around
that
here.
was your first.
no, that's another thing. We were walking out with Max's bird, and I was so hot. I had this like big, thick Sika jacket and everything on because it's all I had when we got out of the truck. I was so hot from crawling and like reaping this bird that I told Max, I was like, I'm gonna have a heat stroke. I stripped down damn near like.
Well, yeah, I have a video of you walking out with just your pants on.
Yeah. I took everything off. I was just walking out. I had my pants like wrapped up as high as I could get.
And that, I guess, is that your first out-of-state bird too?
Out of state bird. Yep.
And I said that would have been your first out-of-state bird as well. So you've knocked off Eastern Merriam, and Max has knocked off Eastern Rio.
Yeah, if I could convince the wife, might be able to try to do it. I'd like to do a Florida trip, go ahead and get that knocked out, but
I'd like to do Florida, but I'm looking at like 3 to 4 years probably.
yeah.
Like I'd like to get it done, but fuck, they're so expensive. I mean, most of them outfitters down there, for a good outfitter, you're getting $3 to $4 grand a bird.
Looks like I'm gonna have to tell Dad to buy more paint.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we can
no
get it
shit.
done.
Yeah, I
Right.
was gonna say,
You're
shut
right.
up.
That's the problem with those birds down there. I mean,
There's no public, and they
Right.
can ask. They can literally ask any price to shoot one,
Mhm.
and they don't have a choice.
you all know me. I don't want nobody to take me hunting
Yeah,
and say, "Oh, here you go." Like I'll just do it myself. But that's one bird that
yeah,
I'll admit I'm gonna have to call somebody and say, "Hey,
yeah. You're eventually gonna
You
have to
have
just
to.
pay for it. Yeah,
give me a
there's
spot.
no other way to
That
do that.
and
hunt.
to me, like out of all birds,
I would
that's
honestly.
probably my least. I mean, it just has black wings.
I would,
It's
yeah.
really
I'd say
different
I
from
would
Eastern.
I'd rather go to Mexico and shoot a gold
Right.
than I would.
But you have to do it though.
and
It's just
yeah.
part of the
Yeah,
checklist.
Part of
Well, we were looking at was it me and you? Me and Allan were looking at the oscillated turkey hunts in Mexico. Aside from like your plane trip down there, you're probably $500 to $1,000 round trip, depending on I guess who you fly with and what time you fly with. But the oscillated turkeys are like $3 grand,
Right.
like all inclusive resorts. You go
Like-
shoot an oscillated turkey, $3 grand. I'm like, I would pay to shoot an oscillated turkey before I went to shoot an Osceola. I
like
think,
3,000 pesos.
Here's $30.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
U.S. You can check that.
So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I would spend $3 grand on to shoot before. Yeah, the camera died.
It's got a black screen now.
Yeah, I figured it was. It only had an hour and 49 minutes of recording, and we're at an hour 55. But it'll be all right. I'll overlay some shit on it. But yeah, I don't know. I'd rather spend $3 grand doing some other shit than going to kill a black-winged Osceola.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to do it at some point, but I don't think it's anything unless it was like, someone offered us, something which it is possible. I know Troy's boss just bought some ground down in Florida, and they know so many people through
Yeah.
racing. He was like,
Troy's been searching hard for us.
he's like, I'm gonna pull some strings, but he's like, I could, he's like, I'll get lucky. He said, it may not be this year, but he said a couple of years. He said, I'll find someone that'll take you down there. So, I mean, we're keeping our hopes up for it, but yeah, I'd spend $3 grand to go shoot something else than I would a black-winged bird.
Yeah. Well, you run out of time as you get older.
Yeah.
If we weren't having a kid in September, it'd probably be a lot easier to go. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you might
Life
not-
happens.
Yeah, I say you're looking at several years before you
Yeah,
you
no
can do
shit. I
shit.
know. That's why I'm like, I don't know if my wife's gonna let me. I don't even know. Deer hunting's gonna be hard for me this year, I think.
That's how Adam's kind of in the same boat. He just had a newborn a couple months ago, so he's like, man, he's like, I got probably like a 5 to 7 day trip in me once a year, and he's like, it's
Right.
gonna be a
Don't be silly. Wrap your willy.
yeah.
Too late, Landen. Too fucking late.
Yeah, I've learned 2 things on this podcast: don't have a kid and don't get married.
They say it's worth it. They say the kid's worth it.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're having a boy at least. Well, Adam had a boy too, so at least you'll have a.
yeah, I got a million hobbies, so hopefully he picks up on one of them. But
Yeah.
yeah.
we'll have.
That's going to be a lot of fun, especially when he's old enough we can take hunting.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would love to. I mean, that South Dakota trip was so much fun.
Yeah.
And just to be out there, I'd love to take him, and maybe he can kill a bird in 49 states.
Or you could kill his bird for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch out! That's like my grandpa. Every time we shoot a double, he's like, "Scoot over! I'm gonna get in here and fire this." I'm like, "God damn!" Yeah, he's the turkey slayer, man. He's awesome.
That's funny. Well, we probably ought to go ahead and wrap her up if we're running up on 2 hours and our video camera has died. So
Yeah, that's
Matt,
the end of turkeys.
yeah, that's the end of turkey season. Matt, we appreciate you making the drive down here to do one. So.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's always fun to hunt. Too bad you weren't able to go. Me and Landon.
I'll go next year.
Yeah,
I'll pull the trigger first next year. How
There you
about
go.
that?
I'm here for
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make it happen next year.
No doubt.
I mean, I'm just as fine sitting back and watching it all happen.
Right. Same. Yeah.
So,
Just getting out there. So.
Yeah, that's it. And like I said, hopefully we get a couple more hunts in the future. Hopefully you have a healthy baby, and hopefully through deer season we can get you back on. Hopefully you can stick a buck or two this year.
Yeah.
Matt says we'll see about that trip depending on how much more paint you guys.
Right, you're right. Yeah, I gotta make a sales call out there with Paul next week. So
Fuck, you need
testing
to
out some new stuff.
No, you need to tell people to stop fucking painting shit and
Well,
some
that's
more
the whole-
sealer and finish is what we need.
Yeah. Oh, I got the
His
paint.
trip ain't sounding very
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Yeah, fuck that paint. But, all right, we'll go ahead and wrap her up. So as always, wrap your tag around the main beam. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.